Yo, 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 what's up, guys? How's everybody doing this, what is this, Abel? What are we, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? We're Wednesday. Give us a second. We're almost set up here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's going to be a real good show tonight, this evening. It's not going to get over till 4 o'clock in the morning, but I think we'll be okay, Abel.
I'll tune in. I'll make sure I'll be there. I'll hang in there, guys.
You going to tune in the whole time?
I'm going to tune in the entire time.
Guys, we got Mark Vyne coming in 1 hour. 1 hour. But we got some stuff to talk about. I got Foster Yates coming on in just a little bit. We got Keith West. I'm joined to my right by Mr. Abel Lips.
How you been, Mr. Billy Shaw?
I'm good, brother. I'm good.
Awesome. It's good to hear.
Yeah. What's up, boys? Hey, girls. Don't forget about girls, Abel.
Hey, boys. Hey, girls.
I got to say girls because I see Cece's watching.
Uh-oh.
Hey, let's do this. Let's have a little fun here really quick. Any girls watching besides Cece? Give me a thumbs up if there are any girls watching.
Oh, there's going to be lots of thumbs up, Billy.
Give me those thumbs up. Let's go. Thumbs up.
Let's see them.
All right, hold on. Abel,
What's up, Mr.
I'm getting ready to turn that camera on both of us. You got to turn down your radio. Hey, on the back of that TV, it's the top TV. Listen to me. There's a little button. Take the button and move it to the left or the right. I've got the volume on that TV right there. There you go. All the way down. Other way. Perfect. All right. Any girls watching? No girls. Oh, Todd Kirkwood. Okay, we're good. What's up, Kirk? Todd Dixon's in the house, 406. What's up, boys? Hey, check it out, man. We have a new camera view today, Abel.
Do we?
Yeah.
Where?
Right there, buddy. Look at that.
Whoa. Holy cow.
We got a camera.
When did I get up there?
We got a camera up here.
Holy cow.
That's just for Mark. That's the Mark Vyne camera.
You didn't get on the ladder, did you? You're not supposed to be on the ladder. Your doctor said.
Because of my hand?
Yeah.
That's called the Mark Vyne camera. We only put that up when Mark's in the studio.
Only when Mark's in the studio.
You know what I forgot to do? Oh, man.
What'd you do?
Shoot me now.
You forgot to plug it in.
You know what? Rayanne and Jeff Young are here. I was going to give them some stickers, but they already got them.
Oh.
Okay, let's do this. What's up, guys? Let me send the invites over to Foster really quick.
Did you see what Cece said?
No. What'd she say?
She goes, shoot, did my man get a haircut? He looks good.
Oh, you haven't seen him? Look, he looks good. Hang on, let me send the invite to Foster really quick. Foster, right there. And Keith, let me send Keith his invite.
Dude, you got 100 people already tuning in. They want to see where Mark's at.
Mark's not here. He'll be in on a Friday.
Psych, we got you guys.
Mark Vyne will not be here till Friday. I'm just kidding, guys. He's on his way in, guys. But listen, let's do this. While we have a minute before Mark gets in, so basically explain what he's doing. He's going to be he's teaching you guys about R1.
Everything we need to know about R1. I think the biggest thing of what he's going to be talking to us about is just how he does the power graphs.
Yep.
And how he tunes. I don't know how deep he's going to get into the M17. I don't know if he's going to get into that much, but I'm sure that has some correlation with what he's going to be going into with the ESC, because they go hand in hand. Yeah. You got the throttle ramp done to the M17, which also through the ESC there is some of that stuff built into it. So I'm sure he'll get into the M17 a little bit, but the biggest thing is how to manage the power of the R1, because it seems to be leading the top of the pack recently. It
sure is. Well, there it is. There is the Mark Vyne camera. So that's the camera that you guys are going to be seeing while he's live. The cool thing about it is we have it mounted to the roof, and we're going to be able to not the roof, but we have a thing in here. We're going to be able to zoom in, and we're going to be able to zoom out for you guys. Mark, Mark, he's going to be doing graphs for you. Let me make
Did you get him his whiteboard?
I don't want to talk about it.
Wow.
I haven't had time, Abel.
Billy, what do you do all day, dude?
I don't do anything, dude. I don't do nothing around here, man.
I just imagine you just like put on like beach music.
Music.
Like the ocean and
Collie Buds.
There we go. Some Collie Buds with the ocean music in the back, the ocean sounds in the background with some like some birds and stuff.
Jesus. Who invited you in here?
You did, or Mark did actually.
Mark invited you in
Mark
here.
invited me.
All right, let's do this. I got Foster Yates is in the house. What's up, big dog?
What's up? What's up,
What are you doing?
man? Just got home from work, man. I'm ready for this show tonight, man. Everybody's pumped about it. We got Mark Vyne on. We're announcing some winners. We're gonna have a good night, man.
It's going to be a good night.
Really is.
You know, why don't we do this, Foster? Because we have the time. It's 5:09. Todd Dixon says, "Hey." So we have picked a winner. We have picked a winner that when I announce his name right now, it is a guy and he lives in California.
Oh.
When I announce his name right now, he was the one that came up with the new name. Foster, of the free airfare, the free hotel, the free entry to the King of Smokies, free lunch with you and Keith and myself. So we're gonna tell you who he is in just a second. You know, it's funny. I see Matt Bingham's watching us right now. I was just watching him doing his live.
Were you?
Yeah, he had his kid. Hey, just a little. This goes out to Matt Bingham. No disrespect, Mr. Bingham, but when you're live, turn the camera this way. He was like this.
Was he portrait mode?
Yeah, he was
landscape?
like this, and
Yeah.
It was him and his son, right? And they were doing a waffle, and I'm doing this. I'm
What?
trying to
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
trying
'cause
to
it goes
watch.
sideways.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch Matt Bingham do his thing. So the King of Smokies, Jeremy White, is. Oh, you know what, Foster? I'll let you answer that.
I can't see the comments, unfortunately. What was the question?
When is the King of Smokies?
That's going to be the weekend of October 29th. So people start coming into town October 28th. Depending, we are actually going to be building the website and registration for it, but it could be the 28th through the 30th, but we're going to be racing on the 29th. So put that on your schedule. King of the Smokies, October 29th,
Matt Bingham.
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Matt Bingham said, "Oh man, my bad."
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No, you got to give.
We lost you. We lost
no.
you. We lost Foster.
Audio.
Oh, we lost you, Foster. Hold on, Foster.
Foster, we lost you audio.
We lost you, dude.
Audio-wise.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you go. What the hell happened?
Uh-oh.
My dad was calling,
Oh.
Listen, hey.
so I probably froze
listen,
my phone up.
you need to tell your father when you're live, no phone calls.
He doesn't.
I'm just kidding, dude.
We're trying to get all our taxes settled out, so that's what he was probably calling me for. But yeah, Matt's doing a great thing for the 865, doing some waffles, raising some money for the group, so we can continue to grow and build our group. He's taking kind of a new initiative, so we'll have to get him up to tune on the waffles. But I was watching him as well earlier. He had to reschedule it like six times because he was going to go live at 7:30, then 7. I was like, dude, you can't. We got a show going on.
We got stuff to do. I'm getting ready to announce the winner of the DR10. Huge shout out to Gregory Chop and the boys in Houston. They're the ones that gave us this. This DR10. And the cool thing about it is he has all three colors. He has orange, green, and purple. Awesome. So the name I'm getting ready to announce right now, you're winning a DR10 because you named the new. God, you got to keep this right. You named the new giveaway,
like the all.
The all-inclusive. Let me have my phone over there. We're not calling it an all-inclusive.
No, because it's not every single aspect of it's going to be.
You're gonna have to buy something.
It's an opportunity of a lifetime. Opportunity of a lifetime.
That's the opportunity of a lifetime.
Is that the winning name? The opportunity of a lifetime giveaway?
No. You guys ready to? You do? Does anybody want to know what the name is?
I want to know.
Okay.
I've been asking you all day, Billy.
All right. Here's the name. I'm gonna go. Well, should we? How do you want to do this, Foster? You want to? Because we got to make sure that before I say this name, his name, and the name of the new experience, the new giveaway, because it was the golden ticket that changed, and You know, the beauty about it is I just saw he's watching right now. So the guy that won the DR10 is actually watching right now. You know what? Let's just go with it. I'm ready. So the winner
Come on.
of the DR10 from Team Associated from Greg Chapa. We'll tell you later.
Wow.
And the Lone Star Showdown and all the boys over in Texas, his name is this. But remember, let's tell you the name. Let's tell you the new name, Foster, for your King of Smokies big giveaway is the the NPRCTV experience, and that's it. There it is. And the winner is Bill.
I love it.
The winner is Bill Dunaway.
The NPRC experience.
The NPRC experience. Now, I know where everybody's already going with this. Mark Vyne owns the NPRC experience on Facebook. I've already cleared it with Mr. Vyne. He said, Billy, whatever you want, you can use my name, my Facebook group, anything you want. So the new name of the King of Smokies giveaway, you're going to get airfare, you're going to get hotel, you're going to get you're going to have lunch with Foster, Keith West, and myself. Your entry fee to the race is covered, and the track fee, and that's going to be sponsored by TSG Carbon Works, right, Foster?
Yes, sir. And if you have to fly into Nashville, I'll be picking you up from the airport in Nashville, so you get to ride with me for 3 hours and talk about all our NPRC experience.
But make sure everybody understands something. Bill Dunaway did not win the trip. The trip we're going to give away at Super Chips.
He just won the DR10.
He won the DR10, Mr.
Oh,
Dunaway.
yeah, my bad.
No.
Listen.
Don't screw this up, dude. We got to make sure we get this right. So, Mr. Dunaway, congratulations to you, and you can get to pick whatever color you want. And make sure that you reach out to my boy, Greg Chapa, all the boys over there in Texas, and make sure you say thank you to him. He's, what's funny is Greg's been messaging me for the past, who's the winner? I'm like, I'm not telling you. So that's it. Congratulations to Bill Dunaway. He won the DR10 choice of color, and we took his name. It's called the NPRC TV Experience. And again, you're going to be winning free airfare, free hotel. I'm going to continue to say it because it's a big package.
Yeah. It's a huge package,
It's not a bad deal, right, Foster?
It's an opportunity of a lifetime.
It's an opportunity of an RC dragger's lifetime.
I'd be freaking going crazy.
Well, no Todds can win and no Abels can win.
Wow, I didn't know Abel added that list now.
Yeah, man. You know what, Tony Fitzwater? So the way that the trip is going to work. Those of you that do know, when I first started this, we were calling it the Golden Ticket. Obviously, we changed the name. There was some problems there. So what I did is I asked people to the first way that you can qualify to get in on the free airfare, free hotel, and all that is going to be is share the video that we did. 2 weeks ago
when we first talked about it?
Correct. And there's 1,005. So Cece was in charge of every person that shared that video. 1,500 different people are already in the entry to win the NPRC TV experience going to King of Smokies.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's going to be great. And we're gonna announce that at Super Chips.
Yes, we are.
Correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give you guys another way to win. I'll announce that on the next live show. I'm not going to announce it today because I'm kind of working through some bugs on my end. So it's not over yet. You can still enter a chance to win. I'll let you know next week. I'm just working out a couple bugs on my end with the excuse me. And Cece has every name written down. Isn't that crazy? Tony Fitzwater said I shared it 25 times. Yeah, Tony, be careful, dude. You guys got to be really careful sharing that stuff, man.
I shared it like 10 or 15 times.
You're not.
Oh, no, I'm in it. I'm in it.
Can't wait to see you guys at the 801. Yeah, Jerry Baker, dude. It's going to be fun, man. Okay, Foster, what do you got going on over in Tennessee these days? Anything good? You want to talk about the race?
Yeah, I mean we had some warm weather last weekend, so Tommy and Shay and myself were able to get out and do some testing. Had some we spent about 20 hours this weekend doing some testing. Really found the numbers that those guys were looking for, and basically just preparing for Vegas. So we got down in the 1.9s and 80 plus miles an hour. Really found the numbers we were looking for, and put a lot of hard work in this weekend on the cars. Um, but yeah, now it's go time. We're getting prepared for New Orleans to be over there for Fire by the Bayou.
Oh, that's
That's going to
right.
be an awesome event, and
Yep.
then man, just getting everything prepared for back-to-back weekends um, on the New Orleans and then Vegas. But other than that, man, it's weather's clearing. We're supposed to have a little. We went from 70 to 20 this weekend, or 30 for the high. Maybe some snow flurries, but we're ready to get out and race. Um, we got a lot of exciting things happening in Knoxville with our group, and uh, everything that's going on with NPRCTV and King of the Smokies, and just the NPR scene in total for 2022. It's going to be wild, man. It's going to be wild.
It's gonna be wild, right?
Yeah. I mean, just look at everything that's happening across the country right now with what we got going on. You got all the new products that are coming out. Everybody, I think we saw it last weekend where pretty much countrywide, everybody was out testing. The weather broke. It was warm. You got to see everybody. Remember this time last year when things happened and you started seeing the GNSSs coming out and 2.4s and 2.3s and 2.2s, and
Yes, sir.
everybody was pumped. And now you're seeing 1.9s and things like that. So the evolution of the sport is crazy in itself, and what's happening across the country, actually internationally. I've got the Australian guys and some of the Canadian guys I've been talking to. So this is a wildfire, man, and the wind's blowing strong. So um, buckle up. I'm ready for the ride.
Who are you talking to? And are you talking to the Australia boys?
Yeah.
No kidding.
There's the yeah. There's some they're just they've been doing their thing over there. I would have to go back and look at, because if there's multiple. There's the Brisbane guys. Um, there's multiple groups over there, Queensland, that are doing the NPRC thing. A lot of them are part of the groups over here. I really offered them the chance to. Of course, they're, I think, 7 or 8 hours ahead of us. We would love to get one of them on the show and talk about what's going on in Australia as far as NPRC is concerned. But they're pumped, man. They're ready for some NPRC TV stickers. They watch the broadcast. There's probably some of them watching right now, but it's probably 3 in the morning over there.
Yes, it is. It's
Yeah.
early, dude. Yeah. Well, I talked to Foster all weekend, and he was. You guys were. I think you told me on Saturday or Sunday you guys tested all day, right?
Yeah, both days. Both days we got out about 10 in the morning, and it was really cool because we had three different locations in Knoxville testing for the weekend for upcoming races in Knoxville. Our primary goal, why me, Tommy, and Shay kind of did our own thing, was we were really trying to get dialed in for Vegas. Um, and I think Shay and Tommy, I think their cars are there. They've got a great opportunity. If you guys don't know who Tommy Giovi and Shay Beckner are, follow them. They're fast. They're R1 guys. Um, not sponsored by R1, but they just run that product. But 195s, 194s, 83 miles an hour. And, it's on a GNSS, but the thing that I always tell people is we see these GNSS times on Facebook all the time, but there's no actual video of the car. So it really, is that in a 10-foot wide lane or a football field size lane? So we videoed the cars going straight down the middle consecutively at these times, and we're ready, man. We're ready to pack our bags. We leave Thursday morning, the 31st at 6 a.m. We'll be in Vegas at 8 o'clock in the morning on Thursday,
No
ready to
kidding, huh?
party.
Nice.
Yeah.
I just
So, but
I'm
yeah, it was a good weekend, man.
I'm talking to somebody right now. I got a special guest coming on right now. Right now, this guy. Whoa. What just happened? Hold on. I've got a guest coming on, man. Okay, let's do it. Sweet. Check it out, man. This is going to be good. You guys are in for a real treat. Because I've got the Godfather coming on here in just a second. Hang on, give me 1 second. I'm multitasking. Yeah, dude.
Multitasking.
Here we go, man. Right there. Look, this is my man right here. We're bringing in right now.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
No way.
Yes, sir. He's
you're
coming
not.
on
Bring him
right
in.
now.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. I'm doing it. This is the Godfather.
The Godfather.
I call him
the
I call him the Godfather now.
He is. He's up there with the Godfather. Yeah, he is.
Or the Godchild.
We're the godchildren.
Guys, I got a special treat for you coming in right now. Foster don't even know who's coming on right now. Let me get ready for him. Hold on. Let me get rid of some stuff here. All right, we're going to bring him in, dude. Hey, this is going to be good because we got 30 minutes to kill. We've already announced Bill Dunaway has won the DR10, guys. Congratulations to Bill Dunaway. The new name of the trip to the King of Smokies is NPRCTV Experience.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's done and ready to go. So, as soon as I see his face come up, yeah, look at that. You got some stickers. Dude, I have so many stickers, it's not even funny. I got more stickers, dude. We've got probably for the King of Streets, I bet you we're gonna have like 3,000 stickers. Yeah, don't hit him yet. Don't. Yeah, I see him. There he is. There's the Godfather's coming on right now. All right, you ready? This is it. Here he is. And now, my friends, introducing Tyler Zavadil.
What's
up,
boys?
dude?
What's happening, guys? How you guys doing tonight?
Did you hear your new name?
No.
You're the Godfather.
Oh, all right.
What's going on, Tyler?
Working on some pit boards.
Nice.
Woohoo.
Look at you. Guys, if you don't know who Tyler Zavadil is, then you need to get out of the RC drag community.
I mean, I don't know about that, but thank you.
Come on, Tyler. Guys, Tyler from King of Streets is on, man. What's going on today, buddy?
Nothing, dude. Day off today, watching the kids, so just been doing pit boards like crazy all day.
No kidding. What are you
Yeah.
making pit ball? Are you making them for the King of Streets?
Just like the one you have right over there.
Yeah, right. Where the hell's it at? Where's
Right
my
there.
King of Streets? Oh, right there. Yeah.
A little bit different on the graphic this year. This year, it's got the sponsors, the main three on there as well.
Nice.
Are we able to see it?
Yeah. So here.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Bad Racing, RCCB Secrets, Jim's
Nice.
Ace. And who's the
Hey,
fourth one?
Tyler, turn your phone sideways.
Track Talk. No.
Is that better?
No, why did it not go sideways? Why did your phone not go sideways? That's weird.
I don't know, dude. It's too fancy for me.
Your phone's too
Here.
fancy, dude.
Is that better?
No.
Why is his is still
All right.
stuck in? It's still.
That's
stuck.
okay. That's okay. So listen, Tyler Zavadil, everybody knows King of Streets is coming. Tyler, go for it, dude. Now's your time to plug your race. Let's get this thing going.
Yeah, so April 1st through 3rd. Qualifying will be on Friday. You get 2 qualifying runs, 0 practice. I keep getting a lot of messages on when practice is. There is none. This is meant for the big dogs. This is not meant for your just average local racer. I hate to say it that way, but that's how it is. So you get 2 qualifying runs to get on the list. If you make the top 256, then you race on Saturday and Sunday.
Nice.
Is there anything in cost for Friday night?
So to qualify is the $25 registration fee that most of you have already done online. If you haven't, you can go over to rcdragtalk.com and you can find all the info you need there as far as registration goes. So that, or if you want to do it morning of on Friday, hang on, buddy. Same thing. It's only $25 to do your 2 qualifying runs. Now the top 256 that do make the qualifying, they will be charged the $100 race fee Saturday morning, cash. We don't take card or check as far as that goes, due to it being the payout to the winner.
Perfect.
Sweet, dude.
And is there double entry or anything like that?
No, so the guys that are trying to run or have multiple cars, right? It's single entry per person, one car per person.
Yep.
Say you have 2 cars, right? I know there's a few people out there that do. You can qualify with both cars, right? You can make one qualifier with each car if
Gotcha.
that's what you want to do. But whatever car you decide that's your racing with on first round, that's the car you're sticking with all weekend long.
Gotcha. And so that's just like last year, just single car, single elimination. That's it. You're done. You're out.
That's it. We understand if you break past the finish line and you use your spare car for parts to get you going, that's completely understandable. But no swapping of cars with somebody that's gone out previously. No, none of that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Nice. Man, Tyler, your layout. I saw your map and your layout, dude. Looks amazing, dude. All of us.
All that credit goes to the wife, dude.
Hey, see, he knows how to do that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I gotta learn
All that credit goes to her, dude. She's done majority of the work with all the sponsors, the hotel, the city, the permits, the layout. That's all her.
Bro, great job. I know she's probably at work right now, but great job, Ashley. The layout looks amazing. The way that everything is just perfect, man.
It looks great.
Yeah, it looks really good, Tyler. Congratulations on pulling off.
Thanks, man. We're excited to have you guys out there doing some driver interviews and whatnot. You know,
it's gonna be sick, dude. I got all the boys coming in. Foster, Keith West is coming. It's gonna be my new tents are done. I'm excited to come out there. Foster's on board. Foster, you got anything for Tyler?
Yeah, man. What's up, Tyler? Good to see you, man. Hey, I appreciate the shout out the other day. I was watching your live. Everybody over here in Knoxville, the guys I'm going to be traveling, we're pumped to get out there. We watched it, every minute of it live last year, and we said next year we're going to be there no matter what. And man, I put on some races myself and just try to kind of model them after what you're doing. So I appreciate the the processes that you're putting out there and the systems that you're doing for King of the Streets. And man, I can't wait to get out there, meet you face to face, and be able to sit down and talk with you and just see what this. I mean, this is the Coliseum of NPRC. So I'm ready, dude. Congratulations, man.
likewise, man. I've been watching what you're doing for a while, and you're killing it out there. You host good events. I'm stoked to meet you face to face. Same, and have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too, brother. We'll give a shout out to your wife, man. She seems like she's handling things and keeping things in line for you. I know you guys work as a team really well, and can't wait. What's the weather going to be out there in March 31st? 80, 90 degrees, you think?
200 degrees.
According to the weather forecast, we're looking at 80, 85, zero wind, and low humidity.
Oh, that's freezing. Oh my God.
Nice.
I'm gonna have to bring the
A
blankets.
little different than last year, huh?
Yeah, so that's part of the reason we wanted to push it back a little bit, was to make sure we had better weather. I got friends that are living in Vegas, and they even said, like, last weekend when it would have been was terrible conditions. It was raining and windy and all that, so I think pushing it back a few weeks is going to help us as far as weather goes.
Hey, I got a question for you, Tyler. Is Coy's doing the timing system again?
Yeah, so it'll be Coy is running the tree, Coy's running the race. I'll be at the top end making sure everything's all good, just in case there's any discrepancies, just like last year. It's instant green for all those wondering. There's no yellow bulbs or anything like that. You stage on the tree, it's instant green after that.
That's exactly what people are asking. They're asking what timing system is it?
Yeah, so I don't know the exact system Coy runs. Abel probably does, or you may know.
It's a porta tree.
So there you go. The porta tree is the exact system we're running, but it will be on instant green.
He takes out his yellow bulbs, and we race instant green all the time for Sundays, and we've had no issue. Coy knows how to set up that track, so
Yes,
you guys do not have to worry about crazy rollout or anything about like that.
And it's the same system we ran on last year at King of the Streets, and we had zero issues as far as the tree was involved.
No, Coy knows how to set that system up. He knows what he's doing with it.
Yeah, so big shout out to Coy for always helping me with King of the Streets. He hosts a great race out there in Arizona. If you guys don't know, Coy
He
hosts
is the
races in
man
Arizona.
for sure. Yep.
Yeah, man. So basically, that's all I got. There's a meet and greet at the bar at the M Hotel on Thursday night. For any of you who would like to join, that's where we'll be. And
That'll be fun. I'll be there. I'll be there for sure. And the people at the M Resort have been fantastic working with. So I look forward to that.
yeah, so that we know the hotel rooms are expensive. That's a huge weekend that a lot of people don't know. It's NHRA 4-wide the same weekend.
Oh,
in
no
Vegas.
kidding.
So the same weekend is NHRA 4-wide, and it's still March Madness going on. So hotel rooms are a little crazy, but they've been fantastic working with us. We filled up the entire block of rooms that they allowed us. They still have more, and you can still use the discount. You just have to call them over the phone now. So just call the M Resort if you're still looking to book your room, and they'll get you taken care of. Just tell them you're coming for the King of the Streets race.
You know, Tyler, mine wasn't that bad. I got 4 nights. Mine wasn't that expensive at all.
Maybe not for you. Jesus, for me, I'm like, God dang.
Well, with a discount that Tyler
Well,
put
it's
up, it wasn't
off.
bad at all for Vegas. Yeah.
No, mine was decent, really decent. I was like, hell, dude, I'll stay another night. Yeah, Tyler, dude, we're really, I mean, we talk about it, dude, between Foster and me and Keith, dude. We talk about your race almost every day. We're really looking forward to coming up there and hanging out, man. I said the word Godfather because you are the one that started this RC drag racing. I mean, out in these the big ones, and this is your 3rd year, and this should be one to remember for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll let you guys know right now. According to registration numbers, we're already at 270 something.
Nice.
So we will make the full 256 mark this year, which means payout's going to be roughly $23,000.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
So-
I heard you say that it would be over Sunday by noon. So you guys got everything in place. You know, you got your systems and everything
so-
for the.
Me and Coy like to run a pretty tight time frame, as you guys know, and not take a whole lot of breaks. So with the time frame and everything that we ran last year, with improvements this year, we should be just the last 3 rounds on Sunday morning.
Cool. I've got a plane to catch Sunday, so if we've got to stay extra, Billy, we might have to get an extra room.
Whatever's going to do. What I'm driving, so we can sleep in the truck if you want.
Yeah.
No, so we'll for sure be done by noon, 1 o'clock at the latest, and that's with winter circle and everything. You know,
Everything.
that's done, like packing up and leaving the parking lot. So
I'm just glad that I'll be honest with you, Tyler. It was freaking cold last year.
yeah, and that's part of the reason we split it up to 3 days is because we didn't want to keep everybody out there from 6 in the morning till midnight again. We know that's hard on families. There's more and more kids getting involved in this. There's kids that are registered to race. So, you know, in order to keep it kind of more family friendly, we decided to split it up and be done by 7 on Saturday. That way people can go get dinner and get some good sleep, you know?
Did you say it's hard on families? Families, it's hard on me, dude. I'm 52. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, freezing my ass off.
Okay, let's put the kids and the grandparents, since you're a grandparent. You know?
There you go. I am a
There you go.
grandparent.
It's hard for the oldies and the youngies. You know?
Yeah,
Us
man.
middle-aged, we're fine, dude. We'll be partying until midnight anyways. But
Yeah. If you guys, if anybody remembers, that was my first ever doing anything with a freaking on like a live.
Yep.
Remember, we were hanging out. We had a propane tank, a heater propane tank, around
Yes.
5 of us, and
I'm so glad you brought that, dude.
we were still freezing, man.
you came prepared though, because I remember looking up like come semifinals, and most of the the sponsors last year had packed up and they were just sitting in the bed of their truck watching the race. Like the canopies were already down. You guys were still up and going, you know?
We didn't skip a beat, dude.
No, we stood up until the very last second.
Yeah, because Jay Conway, because he was man, he was making rounds. Remember, remember every time Jay Conway go by, we would do the wave. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well, guys, if you have not registered for the King of Streets, get your butts and get registered. This is going to be probably the biggest this year. And if you have not seen Tyler's live and listened to the sponsor lineup, you guys gotta check it out, man. Him and Ashley got it going on. It's going to be big, huge. We'll be up there doing Foster and I and Keith will be doing driver interviews. It's going to be a good time. And like I said, Tyler, we can't wait to get up there and have some fun with you guys.
Last thing I didn't cover is it's free to spectate. So if you want to just come check it out and walk through all the vendor booths like it was a real race and have a good time, come on out and do that.
Sweet.
Yeah, you don't have to pay to just come out and have a good time.
Awesome, dude. Cool. Well, like I said, Tyler, congratulations to you and Ashley. You guys got it going on. This is going to be one to remember, man. I can't wait to get her done. Only because it's going to be warm. I'm gonna get my tan on.
This will be fun, dude. Yeah. Weather's gonna be nice. Track conditions are gonna be good.
He's at 270 people. A lot of drivers.
I expect it to be at least. I mean, it's still coming. But what do you think, Tyler? 300? You think you can hit 300 all registered, signed up?
That's what we're shooting for, but it's 3 weeks away, so it's hard to say if we're gonna achieve that or not. So, I mean, faith. Yeah, I hope we do, but I know there's still people coming that haven't registered. Like I know, I'm not gonna say no names, but I know for a fact there's people playing the game that don't want their name posted like they're coming.
Mm-mm.
Am I one of those people, Tyler?
You might be, dude. It's been a while since I checked the list, but you might be one of those people, Abel.
Usually you would see my name right there, top, very tippity top, because of my name, how it's alphabetical.
Yeah.
Tyler, call his ass out right now, dude.
Ashley probably has control of it like Cece does.
She's looking right now. Ashley's doing this right now. She's going, Abel.
I got a question for you, Tyler.
Yeah, man.
Are you going to do the people that qualify, after they qualify, are you going to be doing any of the brackets based on qualifying, or that's just to get in and then it'll be a random pick of how people are paired in the brackets?
So as of right now, the only info we're releasing to you guys is that's just how we're going to let you in the race is qualifying.
Okay.
The rest you will find out in the driver's meeting on Saturday morning.
Ooh, you dirty
Very
dog,
cool.
Tyler.
You dirty.
Yeah.
You just messaged me after the race. It's all good. Or after the live. You just messaged me after the live.
I mean, we got to keep some things so it's our style. You know what I mean? I can't let it all out over the internet.
Nope.
So, you guys know, you guys do media, you guys do stuff in the industry. There's a lot of people watching that don't even show up to see how it's really done. They're just watching on here. So, yeah, so basically the qualifying is just to get you in the 256, and then the driver's meeting on Saturday will let you know who you're running and how we're figuring that out.
Very cool. I like that, man. I like that. A lot of yeah. Very cool.
I mean, we're trying to
Mark Vyne versus
we're trying to still
Frank
keep
Goldberg.
it to where you don't know. You know what I mean? So you don't know Friday night going into it who you're racing off of where you qualified at.
Yeah,
you know,
I like that.
If I post that information and you guys are running off qualifying order, then you know who you got first round. You know, it's no longer a mystery. And that's for those of us who are real drag racers and understand how this actually works. You know, so
100% agree.
I'll tell you right now, one is not going to go up against 256 if that's what you're worried about. So it will be handled in that order to where the fastest guy on property is not racing the slowest guy first round. But how we're handling that, you guys will find out on Saturday.
Nice. I like the anticipation, man.
Thank you guys for having me on, and you guys have a nice night.
Tyler, anytime, dude. You don't even have to ask. Just say, hey, Billy, I'm coming on. All right,
right
Tyler.
on, boys. Well, we'll
Awesome,
see you in
dude.
a couple weeks.
Thanks, man. Have a great night, brother.
Later, bro.
Later, man. There you go.
Oh, is that going to be fun or what?
It's gonna be, dude. It's gonna be like off the charts fun. It's it's crazy. Is Foster is we're gonna see so many people up there. And I was looking at the comments, and Ashley, Ashley says, "Tell him to stop." Ashley had a good comment, and I just saw the comment right now. Gas prices. We don't know what's going to happen with these gas prices, guys. It's getting goofy with the gas, because I think right here, what did you get gas today? Is it $4 here now?
It is at Quick Trip, even because Chevron's normally high.
Yeah, Chevron's usually high.
Normally high. Like 2 or 3 days ago, it was $4.59. Today at Quick Trip was $4.59, and the Chevron by my house this morning was $4.89.
Oh, no kidding! I haven't filled up. I've been walking everywhere.
Hey, time to use that bike.
You know what? Hey, I got 3 electric bikes, dude. We don't got to worry about good gas.
Yes, I'm gonna start riding a bike everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know what
You
happened.
need to pull them out.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Keith West, but we're running out of time for Mr. West, only because I got. Janito Portel says, "Awesome." Now, where is Mark? Here we go again, boys. I am so tired.
I get the inside scoop on all of the gas stuff. I deal with this every day. Just for you guys watching, this is some interesting facts. We went from we get market price on barrels and stuff every day because I'm in logistics with trucks and anything. And the average United States diesel price for fuel last week was $4.10, and this week on Tuesday it jumped to $4.83. So right now we're at an average of $116 a barrel, and by the end of the year they're projecting $200 a barrel. So get your scooters running, get your electric bikes running, and get your EV cars on the bucket list.
How far can an X-Max on 8S with like a 20,000 milliamp battery get me?
My scooter is ready.
Yeah, but it's I mean, it's just part of everything that we're dealing with. The global environment right now, it is what it is. But
yeah, because
we'll get through it.
You're in the trucking industry.
Yep.
It's
crazy.
How those race car guys, the real race car guys, are doing, because I know they use race fuel and higher octane, so I can only pray for them.
Well, I mean, those guys are spending bukus of money already, so I don't think they worry about what an extra 10 gallons of fuel is probably costing them. But yeah, I mean, it's just something we got to deal with. I would just say right now, if you plan on going somewhere across the country, go ahead and get your plane tickets booked now. If you're driving, I would look at what the cost difference is to drive versus flying. It's probably cheaper to fly right now than it is to drive. But just take all that into account. Vegas, Salt Lake City, Billings, Montana, Ohio, King of the Smokies in Knoxville, New Orleans. These are all races that you Super Chips, Topeka. All these races are races that you want to be a part of. So just plan accordingly, man. It's going to go on. Where is Keith? What happened to him?
I don't know, man. But we're running out of time. Mark just texted me. He's almost here, guys, and then we'll get the. What do you think about the
$14 a gallon for race gas?
$14 a gallon.
Jesus.
Here, I'll tell you what to do. Get a battery.
Billy, can I borrow?
You're gonna see.
Golf cart. Yeah, my golf cart business is going to go through the roof.
Skyrocket, dude.
Hey, that's interesting. That's interesting. I'm gonna tell you. I deal a lot with EV and lithium-ion batteries and all that. What do you think the NHRA looks like in 2030?
Electric.
With
I've
these
already seen a couple cars full electric where they've got the big old lithium packs on the side of the car. They lift up a body like our car. They lift up the body, drop the chassis, and there's these big metal packs, and they have rollers, and they'll roll in a whole new pack. They got high voltage they plug in, and they roll off the old pack.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I know that F1 is going electric.
Yep. By 2030, they want 50% of the 50% electric, 50% combustion
I'm
engines.
not,
That's
I ain't got to worry about that. I ain't gonna be here 2030.
What are you talking about? You won't be here.
I'm gonna be on a canoe.
Oh yeah, you won't be here.
Anyway, guys, Mark Vyne will be here in just a little bit. Thanks for everybody hanging out. I needed to get a couple things off our chest. I needed to give away that DR10. I need to let everybody know what the new name of the King of Smokies free hotel, free airfare, free food. Well, hold on.
Hey,
Be careful on the free
whoa.
food. Free lunch.
Steak and lobster,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah, right. And congratulations to Bill Dunaway. He was the one that had came up with the new name for the new giveaway. It's called the NPRCTV Experience. And yes, I cleared it through Mr. Vyne. I know there's people going, wait a second, I already know how this works. So Mark was more than happy to let us use that name. So it's kind of part our name, part his name. We just have TV in it.
It's our name now.
It's our name. That's it, Mark. We're going to take over the NPRC experience.
Yeah, just shoot us over that password, make us admins, and we'll call it good.
And then one thing that I do need to cover before Mark gets here, guys. Next weekend, not this coming weekend, but the following weekend, I'm going to be in Bakersfield, California. I'm hanging out with Tony Trickle, Bill Dunaway, Travis Cherry.
Tony Trickle, where's he going to be at?
It's his race.
Oh, in California?
Well, it's yeah.
Are you going without me?
You can go. You want to go?
I'm going to go in the back of the truck.
Let's go.
All right, let's go.
So anyway, guys, next, not this weekend. This is called the SoCal Points Shootout 2022. We're going to be in Bakersfield, California. It's March 19th. I will be live streaming the whole race for the guys. So it's going to be really cool. So join me for that. And then from there, you heard what Foster said. We're off to New Orleans.
Nolans.
I
like how you say that.
Fire by the Bayou.
By the Bayou.
We're going to Fire by the Bayou. Now, I talked to Kenneth Jackson Monday, I think. Guys, Fire by the Bayou, Foster, I don't know if you know this, he's at 75 entries so far.
Nice.
So
yeah,
his
it's
race,
shaping up to be nice.
his race is getting big, man.
There we go.
You know, it's getting up there because you got 75, you got Texas coming, BMF are coming, Oklahoma boys are coming. I think Jared's watching right now. Jared, are you and I think Jared and Bridgewater are coming down. I just saw Jared's name here somewhere. Did I see Jared?
I thought he was
Yeah, right
on
there. Hydrogen. Hey, Jared.
There's going to be a lot of fast guys there. It's going to be a good event, and there'll be people that'll show up without announcing either. I mean, that's part of the game.
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be good, man. And then Shane Salinger was there. He was testing on Sunday. He was sending me videos. He showed me what the surface looks like. There's a lot of shutdown. I think it's 400 feet long. Oof, so we got plenty of shutdown, and there's plenty of room.
Nice.
So it's going to be a really good race. So if you guys are able to get to Fire by the Bayou, it's in New Orleans, and it'll be the following weekend. Let me make sure I get that right. Foster, do you have that date in front of you?
Yeah, man, that's March 24th through the 26th in New Orleans. So you go Bakersfield, California, New Orleans, Las Vegas.
I know, dude. I know, bro.
You're a busy guy, dude.
I am busy, dude.
You do this to yourself. No more pity for me.
No pity?
No more.
Grandpa Billy?
Poor old Grandpa Billy.
Yeah. And then don't forget, and then guys, and then this is one I can't wait for. It's Tulsa, Oklahoma. This is gonna be Super Chips. We are live streaming the whole race for Mr. Bridgewater and Jared Mills.
I'm excited to go to that one.
I'm excited. I can't wait because I was there last year, Foster, and we had a really good time. And Foster will be commentate. Foster's with everywhere I'm naming right now, guys. Foster's going to be there with me. So you got New Orleans Super Chips. From there, we're off to Ohio, Maumee, Ohio. We're doing the Summer Slam. That's June 11th. Then from there, don't forget.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, sir. That's going to be a good race, too, man. They had a great turnout last year, and, man, we got a wedding this year, and, God, man, that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited just to get there and see the wedding.
Abel Lips is getting hitched.
Oh, goodness.
He is getting freaking hitched. So join us if you would. Join us if you dare. That's the word I'm telling you, is join us if you dare. This is called the Salt Lake Clash. It's July 23rd. It's in Salt Lake City. Not only are you going to see a big race, I think they're at 88 entries right now. They do double entries. We're going to be live streaming that. Foster's going to be joining me there, along with Abel Lips and Cece. This will be the first ever wedding I've ever live streamed.
I'm excited, man.
Are
I'm
you-
excited to get
are-
married.
are
Hey,
you-
Abel, I got a question for you.
Are you really excited, Abel?
Abel, are you going to race that weekend? Are you going to race?
Yeah.
Dude, well, see, I don't know if Cece wants me to tell him this, but we're not going to really we're not doing a first dance, really.
What?
No, we're doing a first race, so we're going to race each other.
Oh, that's cool.
We're going
Okay.
to have a first
Oh, that's
race.
awesome. That's
Okay,
awesome.
great. That's good. I like it.
Yeah.
So no
we'll
first
do a
dance.
little dance. We'll have fun, but like our big thing is we want to have a first race. It's a race wedding. We're going to have a first race.
Hello and welcome to tonight's show.
Don't let all the secrets out, man. Don't let all the
No.
secrets.
See, that's what I know. Cece wants me telling that, but we want to have a first race.
Awesome. Well, I can tell you this.
But are you going to be racing in the actual event?
Yeah. I think I'm going to try to race. in the
Yeah,
event.
you need to race, dude.
Bo says I'm going to be too busy
Yeah.
trying to talk. I'm like, you know what, Bo? I think you're thinking this is going to be like a big old wedding. I want to race. I want to do what I like doing. Cece's going to have fun with Christina and all the girls hanging out. So it's going to be a fun time. I'm going to race.
I've got one suggestion.
Oh boy.
What's the suggestion, Mr.
The
Foster?
whole time you race, I want you to race in your tux. That's it. Every time you get up to the line, I want you to be in your tux.
Wait, hold on. How do you know he's wearing a tux?
Yeah, what if I'm not? I was going to go like all hillbilly.
Well, I was going to say weather outfit or something like that, but I don't know. What is he wearing? Are we wearing the Alaskan snow crab suits?
Yeah, that's what we should wear, dude.
Yeah, what's his name was wearing from
Jeremy
BMF?
Carter.
Jeremy.
We should
Jeremy
wear
Carter.
we should wear Alaska snow crab suits, man. I'm telling you. Listen.
Either way, it's going to be a nice event.
If you guys can get away and come up, if you can't make just the race, come up and join the wedding. I mean, I've never live streamed a wedding before. I just got some breaking news. Where'd you go, Adam Webb? Adam Webb just messaged me 92 entries
Nice.
for Salt Lake.
200
Awesome.
cap.
Awesome.
Did he put 200 cap?
Yes, there is a 200
200 cap. Love it. Make sure I'm registered. Oh, Abel. Hillbilly, let me tell you about Hillbilly Chris Smith.
I mean, we're in March, and that's not till July, and we already got 90 entries. That's going to be a big race.
Everybody's waiting on Mark. Carmine Clemente, hang tight, dude. He's in he's in traffic. He'll be right here. You know, you could turn us off and come back if you want for a little bit, because he's not going to be here.
Good.
He's not going to be here till about 6:05. By the time I get him seated down and rocking and rolling. So if you have something to do, man, Daisy Dukes cowboy hat and cowboy boots.
Dude, I'd rock them.
Oh boy.
Imagine
Well,
me
from
coming up to the line.
that's going to be a great event, but I mean that's going to be a spectacle for sure. And congratulations to you and CC Abel. And from there we go to
I'm just messing with you, Carmine.
Bo and Samantha are booked too.
Bo and Samantha are coming up. You've never met Bo
Yeah.
and Sam, so you'll get to meet Bo and Sam. I'm just looking here, but so that's going to be really good, man. So if you can join us for the wedding, it's my first ever live streaming a wedding. I'm gonna do some. You know, I'm not gonna tell you what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do some cool, crazy stuff.
You're a crazy man in general, Billy. I can't believe you did that sound.
are you going to be the DJ too, Billy?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, imagine him with his like
yeah.
roadie out
Hello
there.
and welcome to tonight's show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the
From
DJ.
there we go to Todd Dixon's race in Billings, Montana. After that,
We
that's
do.
going to be big too, man.
It is.
And King of the Smokies.
And then straight to the King of Smokies. And you know what, Foster? I told you, I'm predicting your race is gonna be big, dude. I predict it. And now that we're flying somebody in for free, hotel, flight, food, lunch, it's gonna be really good, man. Yeah.
I haven't even made a flyer yet, and I've got 92 92, 93 entries, and I just put the event up on Facebook. I haven't even made the real flyer yet. And there's 92 people going and 176 people interested. So,
Do you really
take
already?
20%, give it. Yeah, and I haven't even made the flyer for it. So,
Nice. Wow.
we're not gonna have a cap. We're not gonna have a cap on that race. So, 500 people, bring it. We're gonna do it at the drag strip. If it takes 3 days, we'll do it in 3 days, man. And it's I run through a race just like we did. We had 155 entries last year and 13 5 cars. We did it all of that in 7.5 hours with 2 rain delays. So it's going to be moving. But yeah, I agree, Billy. I don't care if it's the biggest. I don't care if it's the greatest. I want everybody to come into Knoxville, have a good time, and there's going to be a national champion crowned, and NPRCTV is going to be
Yep.
they're live streaming it. So what more can I ask for?
Nothing except for Abel to be there.
He's coming.
Be there.
He's
So,
coming.
so if Abel can win the NPRC TV experience package,
I'm going.
you're going?
I'm going if I win it.
You're going, dude. You're going. You're going me.
Yeah,
All
you're
right.
going.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Mark's going to be here in just a minute. I think I got everything off my chest. I want to tell everybody about the winner of the DR10. The new name of the golden ticket is now named the NPRC TV Experience. We were going to have Keith West. He's working right now, so he didn't come on. I'm just looking to see if he popped in. He did not. And then check it out. We have a new camera. We have the Mark Vyne camera. There it is. Yep,
This is
there
going
it
to be
is.
cool.
Yeah, look at that. So Mark's coming in. Look, we got all the R1. We got the ESC, got the motor sitting there, got the wireless module. So that's going to be his new camera, and we're going to be able to zoom in for you guys, zoom in and zoom out when he gets going here. And then after we get him up and running, let me just dial this in here real quick. Right there. There we go. So yeah, guys, it's going to be a really good show, man. He's excited. Nobody's ever done this with R1. To teach you guys about it. And listen, Mark's been putting the time behind this R1. And if you've ever met him or if you ever talked to him, this mind of his up here, dude.
He's a wild man.
He's a wild man. That's for sure.
He's just as crazy as Billy. I mean, but like Mark's like got the
Thanks,
crazy
dude.
like scientist brain. Like he's just crazy like that. Like Albert Einstein. Imagine like you see Albert Einstein, it's like he looks crazy. Billy's whole different crazy. We'll keep that on the low. Billy's just crazy.
Everybody keeps Billy. You keep saying he's going to be there.
Right? He's right outside the door.
You know what? I'm sorry,
wanna
guys.
bring him in.
I lied to everybody. You guys have a great night.
R1 stuff in stock.
R1 stuff's in
Fully
stock.
in stock.
I've got everything. That's the Voltas. I got
Except
the
for
ESCs.
this
I
is
got the
my
wireless
stuff.
modules.
That's mine. That's not in stock.
That's Abel's. There's.
This is also mine. All the stuff over there is mine. So nothing's in stock.
Hey, why don't we do this really quick, Abel? While we are waiting on him, why don't you do this?
What's up?
Talk about this chassis that's in front of you, because that goes up for sale tomorrow.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Let's.
So,
you can. There you go. Here. Let's do that really quick.
So this is a Losi. Was it the 20? What are those rollers that we bought? The Losi came out with.
Yeah, the 20.
Is it the 22S?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
22S.
Yep.
Okay, so it's a 22S roller. We took everything off of it and directly bolted it up to this chassis, and this chassis is from Undercover Drag Wings. And I don't want to say mine's called an Assassin. I don't think it's the same for the Losi. I think it's maybe a hit. I don't know if it's a Hitman or what the Losi version is. Maybe it's Losi Assassin version. But it's going to have the R1 ESC R130 motor, and these are just nothing's done to them. I haven't went in there and messed with anything. This is just out of the box. I put it up, soldered it up. We're also going to include a Reefs 299 low-profile servo. Really great servo for the drag racing stuff. Other than that, we've got the bar that is included with Greg's chassis, the undercover bar. Let's see. We're going to include the Proline front runners, the skinnies up front, Proline, the wide reactions, the HPs in the rear. Those are just tires we just thrown on there. They are glued up and ready to go. Other than that, It is stock setup, so you may want to go in there and change some fluids and stuff like that. We've got some other builds that I'm doing in the works that I consider we call an all-out build or a pro build, where I've gone there, I've done the actual shocks, I've done the diff fluid and stuff like that. So this is just a conversion. We just move the stuff over and put some electronics in it, but this will be going up on the website along with some of our other pro builds here soon.
Looks good, man.
Thank you.
Looks really sharp.
It's a nice car. I like it. So like I said, there will be a little bit of work.
I got a
needed to be
question
done
for
to
you,
it.
Abel.
What's going on, Foster?
Who are the? Because I know what you run, and you guys know I'm a McLaren guy. Who do you guys feel are the biggest players right now in NPRC as far as ESCs and motors?
ESC's top three.
I mean, Mark's coming on to talk.
Yeah, so I would say R1, Macklin, and I mean, you can't go wrong with the faithful Tekin. Tekin's been a pretty good one too. People kind of maybe forgot about that one, but Tekin, the RX-8 with like a 2.5 turn motor, 2.0 motor, and stuff like that, has been proven to make some nice numbers. But I would say those are top three. I know some people. I've heard about Castle, but I haven't had luck with Castle. People with the Mamba X or the 8S, 6S, whatever it is. But I would say R1, Macklin, and Tekin, top three ESCs that are running good numbers.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Vyne is in the house. What's up, Mark? Oh, he's going to get his headphones on. All right.
Yeah.
There we go. See, Jesse Kendall?
He's here.
He's here.
What's going on, Mark? Oh, he hadn't got his headset on.
Give him just a second, Foster. He's going to get his headset. Hey, and that's disinfected for you, Mark.
Appreciate that.
What you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
You pull that mic into you.
Oh.
What's going on, man?
Hold on. Is that better?
Yep, good. You're good to go.
All right.
How are you today?
I am tired, busy.
Are
but
you really?
excited?
Yeah. Is work's crazy, huh?
Yeah, we're moving. Work is crazy right now, and trying to get ready for racing and stuff.
Yeah. Got it. Here, we can move this out of the way. So anyway, hey, this chassis that he was just talking about will be up for sale on the website tomorrow.
Give me that right there.
Yep. All right.
It's awesome.
All right, Foster. Well, listen, man, I'm going to get this show on the road with with Mr. Vyne here, and
how you doing, Mark?
I'm good, man. Thanks.
I will chit chat at you tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll catch up tomorrow. I'm excited to see the show. Mark, I'll see you in a couple weeks, and
he's gonna be down.
You guys tune in. This is gonna be a great show.
He's gonna be down in Nolans with us.
Oh, really? Oh, awesome. Okay.
Nolans.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you, man.
He can't see. He's right here.
We got you.
Very cool.
I got Mark all jacked up. There's TVs everywhere. Shit's going on. Foster, have a great night, buddy. I will talk to you real soon.
Turn Mark's
All
volume.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Yeah, man. See you, bud.
I think it's Mark just needing to put his here.
You got it?
How's that?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you fine.
You good?
Yeah, I like the new setup.
You like this?
It might be old, but it's new for me. I haven't been here in a little while.
No, I just did it. So you remember because we had tables sitting the other way.
Yeah.
But because we did the camera up here, and this is by the way, this is the Mark Vyne camera.
Nice. I like it. Very cool.
I set that up yesterday. Actually, Abel and I set it up. So let me listen, guys. I haven't had a chance to brief Mark, so let me explain. So what you see on that TV is what they see.
Okay, cool.
So once everything that's on that TV is everything that they see. So what I'm going to be able to do is switch your view here. I'll hit this button right here, Mark, and it's going to be just that camera. You can see what you're doing right there.
Okay, perfect.
And if you need a phone, we could also get you a little iPod so that if you got intricate stuff to show, you could do that too as well.
I think this will work great. When we get the whiteboard, I think we just want to be able to zoom in on the iPad and zoom in on the whiteboard to be able to see the software. And see
like I said, we got the little iPhone if you need it.
Okay.
Yep. So like exactly what he's saying. So
Sweet.
You want to go ahead and switch them over to? Are we going to both?
Can you zoom that sucker?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Here. So we'll go solo. So that's what everybody sees.
Yeah.
I can zoom in, whatever you need,
gosh,
and
look
it's
at that.
right there in front of you. Everything that's what you see is what they see.
That's awesome. Okay, perfect.
Yep. So there you go.
Okay, I'm ready. You guys ready?
Yes.
Brother, hey, listen, everybody's ready. Everybody just kept saying, where's Mark? Where's Mark?
Dude, that's all I want to know.
But I will tell you one more thing before you get busy.
Yeah.
Is just speak up just a little bit.
Oh, okay.
That's it. No,
Yeah.
it's not you. It's just if you can speak up a little bit, everybody can hear you, and we'd be good to go.
Okay. You hear me okay?
Gotcha. Let's do this, man.
All right, so I got some notes. First thing, before we get into this, I wanted to thank Billy. I wanted to thank you for doing this for me. This was kind of last minute.
No, you're good.
And venues like this allow me to reach a lot of people. So thank you very much.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
But before before we go any further, hey guys, this is going to go up on his YouTube too. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the video that we do today, and then and Mark will have it, so it'll be on his YouTube as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping to use this kind of as an instructional video for people that have R1, people that are just starting out, and maybe for all skill levels of people. I think hopefully all skill levels of people will get something out of this.
Yeah, everybody's ready. Trust me. You tell me when you're ready for just that camera, because right now it's all of us.
Okay. So, I wanted to also thank Steve. This is, specifically an R1 video, and Steve, the owner of R1, has been extremely nice and makes a great product and very supportive. So I wanted to, this time is for Steve and to show you how to use his product, and he has an amazing product. So thank you very much, Steve. And I think to start, there's multiple systems, right? Like what you were saying, there's DRK, there's Tekin, and there's R1. And a good example of the power of each one is, and I started thinking about how I could explain this because I've had experience with all of them. And DRK, in my opinion, is like the Tesla at the track. It's all set up. It's kind of push button. The software is really good. It's easy to use, and it's fast.
Totally
right?
agreeable,
And it's kind of a futuristic software. I think Tesla is a good example at the track of what DRK is, right? Then you have Tekin, and Tekin is this is Zoom.
That way you have another camera.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Tekin is like the big block Camaro, 632 that's fast and it's unbreakable and makes a ton of torque, right? And it's a lot of power, it's a lot of torque, and you can't break it. You can, but it's a very, very strong system and very simple system. You give it gas and it goes, right? It's just it's simple. And R1 is kind of like the nitrous turbocharged small block Camaro,
Twin
right?
compound turbos.
It can be extremely fast. It's very complex, and you can break it if you put too much nitrous in it or too much boost or right. I mean, it's as long as you understand the parameters, it'll be great. And I can kind of explain at least the parameters that I've solved or I've figured out, but those are kind of three scenarios, and each one has its place. So I'm not going to come out here and say R1's the best, and it's the right solution for everybody, right? It's a good solution for somebody that really wants to put the time into tuning and tinker and have all the different adjustments. It's got every adjustment or more than all the systems out there, right? It's got everything. So.
And you're going to explain what you mean by everything.
Yes, I'll go through.
Okay, because a lot of people, when you say the word everything, everybody's going, what do you mean, Mark? What do you mean?
Sure.
So everybody he's going to go through it all. So just want to be sure what we're talking about here.
I tried to kind of lay out how I was going to do this because it's more complex than like a Tekin video or a DRK. DRK software can be fairly complex but user-friendly, but there's a lot of options, and I wanted to start. The last few months I've been fairly quiet on videos because I'm trying to learn and understand the parameters of this system so that I could tell people, and I don't want to tell people wrong, right? So it took a lot of time testing and knowledge of people that are on different teams that are helping me to understand. So I think I got a good grasp on it.
Cool.
So I'm going to kind of go through the entire system where I want to start with batteries and the differences in batteries, and then I'm going to go through motors and why different motors work different ways. And then the last thing I'm going to do is an ESC, and I need to kind of outline the batteries and the motors because it makes a difference on how you tune the ESC. And so you can do a special on each one of those, but I'm just going to touch on the importance of batteries, the importance on motors and rotors.
Awesome. I
and
didn't know you were
NPRCTV.
doing that. So basically,
This is a whole R1 system. Right?
Okay, that's good. I didn't know you were doing that.
And why I have to do that is I have questions where people will go, man, I got this battery and this rotor and this motor, and I don't know what to do.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know either, right? And this is going to be a specific case where I'm very familiar now with R1 batteries, with an R1 motor and an R1 rotor, with the R1 ESC.
Nice.
And when you change any one of those, it gets there's so many different combinations, I can't cover them all. So I can cover a combination that works, and I can give you a system that you can tell if that other system, if the rotor works or whatever. So I'm going to give you the tools, and then you guys are going to have to put in the work to try and figure out what works best for you. So starting with batteries, this car is my light version. Wanted to kind of give you an idea of what everything looks like. So
give me 1 second, Mark. Give me 1 second. There you go. So what you see is what they see.
Here.
Yes,
Yep. Okay.
Correct. I can zoom out if you'd like. Take a look what I'm doing. I'm zooming out a little bit here.
Perfect.
You
Okay.
tell me what you want me to do. And if you need to use that camera right there, you just grab it and let me know, and I'll switch it over.
Okay. So R1 also makes a really badass chassis. This is the Apollo chassis from Dustin Malicote, GFRP. So to go over the R1 electronics in it, this is the smaller, the 7600 battery. I don't know if it's there you go. That's a little better view of it. And this is the light car. So I'm using the smaller of the two batteries. The two main batteries that are used in drag racing that I've seen are the 7600, and then they have an 11400, which is in my other car. So since this is a light version of the car, I wanted to try and keep the battery light. So this is their lighter version. The speed control comes with a fan. I don't run the fan. It usually starts out about 70 degrees, and after my run, it gets to be about 95 or 100. I don't think I need the weight of the fan or it doesn't seem like it needs it, so I don't run it. But I do always run the stock cap. You want to run, this is kind of a shield for any of the noise coming back from the motor, protects the electronics. So from what I understand, no matter what cap you run, you still want to run this cap to protect all the electronics. They offer larger caps that I've experimented a lot with caps, and I know some really fast guys run their caps. Me personally, I'll run a cap if I'm experimenting with a system that I'm not familiar with. So it'll keep the voltage up. Like if I try and run a 2.5 or a 2.0, which I'm not running, but if I tried it, I would probably put a cap on it so that if it did get a spike or a low voltage thing, it would protect the ESC. So I would run it as a protection, but not necessarily as a performance gain.
Gotcha.
The other thing that I do is this is 10 gauge wire. It comes with 12 gauge, and some of the benefits of like Rockwell or Nick Bell, there's companies that make systems for power, is they will solder 10 gauge wire on for you. And I had this one soldered by Hobby Action, Ethan Kozlowski. I think that's how you say his last name.
I know who you're talking about.
Ethan's a great guy.
I know who you're talking about. I've been trying to get him to come on here to do a soldering show.
So he's a master soldering guy, and I don't want to try and. I'm a pretty good solderer, but I don't want to try and solder this on my own because if you heat up the board too much, it ruins the ESC. So I usually take it somewhere to get it soldered. So it'll run good with 12 gauge. 10 gauge is a little bit better. We've seen a little bit of current drop for the same horsepower with a little bit bigger wire. So there's some benefit to that. I run an XT90 plug. There are QS8s, which are huge.
They are huge.
They actually do make a difference. They're a little bit better plug, but they're so hard to disconnect and connect. I'll rip my electronics out about every fourth time trying to unplug it. So you do lose a little bit. These connectors are probably a little on the edge, but QS8s are a little better. But I do run these just for ease of use. So that's kind of the setup in the car. I'll go over gearing a little bit, but what's in this car because it's light is an 1896. This is a 3.0 R1 motor, which is kind of the standard, and the variable that's cool with this power system is the rotor, and there's massive rotors out there to make different types of power. So this is the 13.5 rotor from R1. It seems to be the most popular, and for me, I think I've had the best luck with this rotor, and I'll go over some differences of rotors and the goods and bads or do's and don'ts of rotors. So that's my car, kind of, excuse me, in a nutshell on the mechanics of it, what it looks like. I just wanted to show you guys how it's set up. Very simple. No crazy cap, no huge battery on it. Just kind of the basic stock R1 stuff. I think this motor has titanium screws and it has pretty good bearings in it from R1, but nothing that you can't get from the R1 website.
Yep.
Okay, so batteries. The first thing about the batteries is the IR. And the better the battery gets, we're finding that the more susceptible to heat they can be. And one of the examples was we went to Miami and we practiced. And when we practiced, we were waiting in lines and it was cold and we were turning the power up. And then when we actually raced, we were like second and third run and we charged and went right up there. Batteries were warm and we made a lot more power than what we tested with. So since then, I've been messing around with battery temperature, and I don't necessarily want a heater on the battery, but I do want to keep consistent temperature. So if somebody's out there that wants to make some sort of insulator for a battery, that would probably be a really good product.
I'm sure Brian Elkins is in the works.
I've talked to him about it.
I'm sure he's in the works with something.
This is a little bomb, and you don't want to heat it up with like a tire warmer because usually the critical temperature of a battery is about 130 or 140, and it gets really hot on the inside.
I just give it a kiss with a heat gun, or a hair dryer and stuff like that.
And I mean, I've used like hand warmers and like the chemical hand warmers and stuff. But keep in mind that the battery temperature or the IR, you can get them. I can get this battery down to 0.5 or 0.4 for a small battery. That's very good. In cycling it to get some heat in the battery. I usually, when I temp gun it, if it's over 100 degrees, that's as hot as I want to get it. I don't want to, you're dealing with a little bomb here, so you don't want to put it up in a high temperature. If it gets to a certain temperature, it'll run away and catch fire. So it's I don't want to see heaters on batteries or people put heaters on batteries, but I'm just saying that watch your IR and watch your temperature of your battery because it makes a difference on horsepower.
People said heated lipo bag from DRC.
And there is a heated lipo bag, but my buddy caught his friggin' battery on fire with that. Geez. If you heat the battery, he's an on-road buddy, and he had it on high and cycled the battery, and it got too hot, and it caught on fire in the pits. So I don't want to promote a heater for a battery. There needs to be a way to control temperature where if you're charging it, the heater shuts off when it sees 100 degrees or something, right? And then when it's cold, it turns back on and holds the temperature at 100 degrees.
Yep. Just
a constant heater on a battery. If you're cycling, it's dangerous. So, point of that is watch your IR, cycle your battery, and it'll get your battery down a little bit on the IR. It'll make more power and consistent power. The other battery, the larger battery, it's funny, I've run... with this combination, I've run about 84 miles an hour. I think Chris Schwartz have run 85 with the same combination. And I've run the same mile an hour with the big battery in a heavier car. So I can't figure out which one is better for performance. And this is lighter and makes a little less voltage, but still produces a ton of power, where I can hold about 6.3 or 6.4 volts on this on a 80-plus mile an hour run, and I'll hold 6.7 to 6.9 on the large battery, and they'll both run about the same mile an hour. So both batteries work extremely well. If you're going to set up a light car, I would go with this battery. If you're going to set up a heavier car, I'd go with the bigger battery.
Gotcha.
Motors. So this is kind of where it gets pretty complex, and there's a couple of subjects. There's rotors, there's the gear, and there's the timing. You know what I can do too until we get a whiteboard? I can probably draw on this white pad, right?
Yeah. She'll be right back. She'll be right back.
Is she really going to get...
Yeah. One thing I forgot today.
So with Tekin, we ran a 2.0 motor, and we only ran like 80% EPA because there was no timing available, and the EPA was because the saturation of the core... It kind of gets complex, but you couldn't really get any more power after about 80 or 85% EPA. Then we tried a 2.5, and the same phenomenon kind of happens at like 95%. And the 3.0 motor is kind of the lowest Vyne motor that you can run 100% EPA, and it still makes power and that last few percentage. So that seems like it's the dominant way to make power right now, especially when after 100% EPA, you're going to put in a lot of timing, or you're going to add more timing. So that's why I don't think the R130 or the 3.0 motor is a variable anymore. Everybody pretty much runs that wants to make a ton of power.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
When you're going to time it, when you're going to run a Tekin or something that doesn't have a lot of timing, then there's different ways to do it. But for this application, I don't think there's anything even really close to a 3.0 motor, whether it's Motive or R1 or whatever type of motor you run. It seems like 3.0 is the dominant one. So the variable can be the rotor. And I don't know if we'll be able to see this or not. Let me see.
I could hold the camera for you if you'd like.
Well, I mean, look at what you look on the TV next to you.
Let's see if I can do this.
I think you'll be all right until she gets back. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to draw. This is kind of the best way to describe this on the motor is you're going to have this is going to be kind of a crazy sketch, but
Hey, and everybody that's watching right now, if I know the question, look at the comments. I'm answering the questions for you.
They say you could be a hand model.
Good. That's Christopher Schwartz.
You could be a hand model. Damn,
So-
look at those hands.
they
Dude.
look great on
Yeah,
TV.
yeah.
Look at that.
Anybody over on YouTube, I'm answering your questions, okay? Just look at if I don't know it, I'll ask, but I'm going to do the best I can to keep up on the questions.
Abel, you could probably attest to this as you race. So hopefully people can see that. I don't know if it's better to look at it this way. Yeah, that would probably be better. Okay, so you have your throttle, right? I'm going to try and explain what the rotor difference feels like or does. And you have your throttle that, you have your throttle curve in the ESC and stuff, and we'll go over that. But you have this difference between the throttle position and the RPM of the motor. And a 2.0, like if you took a Tekin 2.0 setup, that throttle position, let's call this like a rubber band. And when you increase the throttle with the Tekin 2.0, the RPM follows it almost exactly. Like I would shift 1 or 2% on the V3 Phantom, and it would spin the tire because it wanted to go more RPM. So the torque level was insane. Like
On a 2.0?
on a 2.0, right?
Okay.
And the problem is
Oh,
once
by the way, with the 2.0, what does rotor change in a 2.0?
I always just ran a 13.5 rotor,
13.5. Okay.
and
I'm taking my notes, my mental notes.
because the torque was so high, there was never really the rotor really wasn't a factor because the horsepower was so high. But what happens is once you reach the 100% mark, the end of the track, that dot might be here for RPM. It's got to go all the way up here. And once you reach 100%, if you have the wrong rotor or not enough timing, it'll start working against you towards the top end. And that's what happened with the 2.0 in comparison. I didn't realize it till I started running R1, but you get to 100% throttle, and that rubber band starts actually holding it or fighting it, and it kills the power on the top end. And the weaker the Gauss rating, there's a couple main factors in rotors. There's Gauss, which is the magnetic strength,
How strong
it is.
Yep.
There's diameter,
Yep.
right? So how big it is and how
That's when you
close it
get
becomes.
torque.
Yes, and it closes the air gap. And then there's the length of the rotor, which is kind of new coming up. Oh,
Other way. There you
There
go.
we go.
Yep. Nope,
So-
you're good.
so the stronger the magnet and the larger the diameter, the more torque the motor makes. But after you reach your 100% throttle and it wants to RPM, a high Gauss or a large diameter rotor can limit the RPM band of the motor where it stops making good power after a certain RPM. So this can get really complex where, okay, so you gear it up, but then it pulls too much power, it pulls too much current, right? So you have to find a happy medium where the motor wants to wrap out at the end and pull real hard, but not pull too much current, and so you don't have to gear it really tall and not lose your low end. So R1 has figured out with their 13.5 rotor where in the beginning stages of this, it has enough torque to pull the car real good. But at the end, the rubber band is weak enough. The Gauss rating is weak enough. The magnetic field is weak enough where it lets it RPM a lot and pull all the way to the end of the track. And it's hard to describe that in a graph, but you can really feel it in the car. And a good example is I threw a pinion on the Tekin 2.0, right, running it. I've ran it for a while, and you throw a pinion and the motor will go to like 140,000 or 100. It wraps up to its natural state or its max effort. And it was like, I think it was between 100 or 120 or 130,000, and the motor on the run was spinning 100. So free spinning, it would only gain 20,000 RPM because it was starting to hold itself back. But the 3.0, at a lot of timing, I kicked the pinion on a 3.0, and it went to 230,000 RPM.
Holy cow.
Like, I can't believe it held together, but it shows that the motor will pull a really high or higher RPM and pull really hard, because I heard it just for a split second. It almost hurt your ears. That pitch was so high, and then you let out of it, and I looked at the data log like, oh my God, right? I didn't even want to post the data log because I don't want people to think that's okay.
That's
It's
normal.
not, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, how's Mark pulling
right.
230,000?
Right. And so it gives you an example of how hard the motor can pull even at a high RPM. And at the gear ratio I'm running, I'm spinning about 100 to 100. The light car spinning about 110,000, and the heavier car spins about 95. I load the motor a little bit more. So it's well within the range of what it wants to spin for timing, and it pulls all the way to the end. So the companies like Rockwell and Nick Bell, I thought about, how do I make a video, and I don't want to overstep or give away things that they're doing, but I really can't. It's this system, how strong is the Gauss rating and how big a diameter do you run, and that all, and the timing of the rotor, they perfect that. So they put good bearings in the motor. They put the rotor they feel is the best, and they put, they give you starting test tunes or starting tunes that they've done a lot of the work for you. So, there's been a comment online about, people are buying tunes or whatever. And this is so complex that I think there's a place for that. If somebody's just getting starting and they buy a motor from Nick Bell or they buy a Rockwell motor setup, it gives them starting points so they don't break it. And nobody can give you a tune to go win. It's just going to give you the rotor that they feel is the best, that gets the top end and then still has the low end power, or the bearing they think is the best, or that they can also run it on a modalizer and get the optimum can timing. That's a new thing for me because Tekin, I didn't run any sensors. It was all sensorless, so I didn't care about the can timing. But now, you want to run it on a modalizer and see when the optimum timing is on the end bell because the motor run more efficient. Then you time it with the ESC. So those are things that those type of companies offer, and I think there's a big value to it. So
huge.
When I first started running R1, and I'm like, I can make power with not using any of these companies. Getting really into it, I see the value. Oh, there we go. I see the value. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Got it?
Yeah, got it. I see the value to what those companies do, and Rockwell right now is in the motors in the cars of the fastest guys right now, the R1 team. So he's doing something right because he's figured out the big variable is the timing and the rotor combination and the gearing, and he's figured out a real strong way on how to do that. So this video isn't to replace those type of people. If anything, it's trying to promote them because they'll give you good starting points, so they'll give you a motor that's optimized to start with. So let's see here. So I went over a little bit about the rotor.
I'll be right back. I'm going to grab a drink, Mark.
Yeah. Gearing, at least right now, I'm running anywhere between a, thank you, 96.18 to a 93.19, and it'll put you somewhere around 90 to 110,000, 95 to 110,000. It seems like the optimum timing, or I'm sorry, the optimum RPM. So I think that's about all I had. The timing on the motor, every motor is a little bit different. I started out at this is very important. topic is the motor can timing, and I've had one ESC failure, and the one ESC failure I had, I put the end bell of the motor at 0, and I was like, well, I want to tune everything like I do the Tekin, all on the radio, and I want the most adjustment possible. So I put it at 0, and one run it blew up. And talking with Steve, I'm like, man, I blew one up. I didn't realize what I do wrong. And you never want to run the thing at 0 degrees. You always want to run. I usually run between 30 degrees and 40 degrees on the end bell. I think 40 might be a little bit much, but it's whatever the modalizer reads to be the optimum timing for the motor.
It's like optimum timing RPM versus when you too much amp draw on the pull, right?
Yeah, like I've actually run it a lot at 40, and the amp draw on a modalizer would be like 18 amps, which is a lot. That's a ton.
That is
It runs fine, but I think the motor efficiency goes up a little bit when I turn it back to 30 or 35. So there's a sweet spot where the sensor will pick up correct and the timing is accurate and all the poles read the same, and you have to have tools like a modalizer to be able to see that, and they're expensive tools, so that's why getting a motor from somebody sometimes can be nice, but I'm running anywhere between 30 to 40 seems pretty optimum. I think right now this one's at like 30, 35 roughly, and then I'll add the rest of the software. So never ever run the end bell. That's one of the limits or parameters, is don't run the end bell. I'd say lower than about 15 or 20 degrees. There's really no reason to run it that low. And you risk on the launch, if it's close to 0, it doesn't know whether it's going to go backwards or forwards, and it can, from what Steve describes, it kind of acts like lightning through the ESC if it wants to try to go backwards, where it just fries everything. That's why sometimes that's why switches blow out. That's it's not a good thing. So that is one of the parameters, is always have timing in the end bell. Okay, so I think that's about it on the motor and about it on the battery. We can get into the software, and the software is very complex, and I tune in one specific way that I'm going to talk about, and I don't have a lot of experience with all the different parameters of the ESC. I'm going to talk about how I tune and the parameters that I look for. So there's no magic tune, and there's no, I'm going to plug this in your car and it's going to go win a race. But hopefully these will be the tools that you need to go tune and figure out what tune is right for your car on that road on that day. And it took me so long to make this video because I don't want to give you a tune or a system that burns your stuff out, right? And I think that's why Steve has been, he gives kind of a base tune that's very safe, and he's in a situation where if he gives out something and somebody burns their stuff up, then he looks very bad. So I'm kind of independent. I run his stuff and I try to study his stuff, but I can give you a realistic drag tune that will put you high 70-mile-an-hour mark if you follow every single parameter, and it has to be the same. You can't put in all of the timing and all of the gearing and say, I ran a 14-millimeter rotor and it blew up. Well, yeah, I mean, everything makes a big difference, and you have to have all the pieces of the puzzle to make the tune correct. So what you'll see in my ESC, don't take it for the numbers that are in the software. Take it for the process I'm going to tell you on how to get the most out of the motor that you're going to run. The numbers are kind of irrelevant. I'm going to tell you what to look for and when to stop, like for current and things like that, right? So I don't know if I explained that right, but it's not just a dead set number. You run 90 degrees and it's going to go this speed, right? It's not that.
That's always the hard part of giving tunes and helping people with tunes, is because there's so much that changes with just their surface. It's hard to help people across the way of different areas. You don't know what they're racing on, stuff like that.
I don't actually know what's in this car, but
you've got the moon tune in it, dude. Remember you were racing a 480. You got the moon tune.
that was the other car.
Oh, that was the other car? That was
the heavier. Yeah, that was kind of the experimental car. This car I haven't run since Miami. Yeah. So this car went 180. I think it set the fastest time
in Miami.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Didn't win or get close to winning, but it ran pretty good.
That's awesome. I'm trying to stay up on all this stuff, man. Holy cow.
So many questions.
I know.
Okay, so one of the things that sometimes can be difficult. So I have the ESC is on, and there's a little brown light or yellow light on the side of the ESC. So the Wi-Fi is on, and the process of what I'll do is go, okay, I'm going to look for the Wi-Fi. This one's already been connected, so it's connected to the Wi-Fi. It has a check mark. If it doesn't, you'll see it in this list. You connect to it. If it doesn't connect or it says unavailable, that means there's another device that's already connected to it. So you got to disconnect that device before you connect this one. And this isn't an exact science where sometimes you have to disconnect and then reconnect, and there's some just getting used to how it connects.
I have the same
right?
issue with my Macklin.
Yeah,
there's
it just
there's
seems
a
like it's a
process of
standard.
when I go to log in. Like I make sure I do the same thing. So before I even log into the app, I make sure I go to the settings. I make sure my Wi-Fi is connected first, because even if it is connected and I open the app before it's like, if I don't do the proper steps, sometimes it won't work.
Right.
I literally have to do certain things in a certain way.
Yeah. So
and then go to the app and it works.
If it doesn't connect, I'll just shut everything down like I just did with all the apps. I'll open up the settings, and R1 is connected, so then I can go to the R1 software, and when you press on the R1 software, it connects. So now it's connected. It says connected on the bottom. We're ready to go. And I think there'll be times where I don't want to give bad data, so I want to make sure what I show is correct. So
Mark's like, oh, shit.
I sure want to do this. Wait a second.
Yeah, you got yourself in a pickle now, didn't you, Mark?
Yeah, you can't show that iPad, Mark.
Whoa!
Hold on, guys. I'm recording it right here.
We're
I got you.
recording everything, everybody.
Let me do this.
That's awesome.
You guys are
180 Chris Hobbs.
Whoa!
I'm going to start from what
So,
they would see.
guys,
from
it's not
nothing.
me. I got this. Just hang tight.
Hang on.
I almost had you Mark's tuned.
I'm going to give you pretty much this
No,
tune,
dude,
but
I'm
I want to.
We almost had it.
If I'm experimenting and throwing a ton of timing on it, I don't want people to see that. Oh, I'm gonna do that.
Oh, that's
Forget
it. And
Yeah.
screenshot
Oh,
it.
yeah,
70
boom,
degrees
right
of
there.
timing.
And then they go blow it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Blow the
so
tires
let
off
me
the
see if
line.
there's let me see if there's a log in here too. It'd be cool if I could see a log, because there's a lot to be shown in the log too. Usually it'll save the last one. Let's see. Yeah, there's a log in here too. Okay, cool. Okay, let me think what I'd do first here. I'm going to show the settings first. So.
So I know it's tough for you to do this.
Yeah. Oh,
Can
flip
you-
it. Yep.
But when you flip it, your iPad. Oh, there you go. Cool. Okay. You already have your lock on your iPad. Sweet.
Yeah.
Can you see upside down though?
I think so.
Okay.
Okay, so
You guys happy?
I know, dude. They're fucking
Everybody's like, turn
flipping.
the iPad.
flipping out.
can we zoom in a little on that?
Yeah, of course. Just
so
go a
people
little
can
bit of
see
time,
everything.
Abel.
Tell me when to stop.
Little bit of time. Keep going.
That'll probably be good. I think they can see that.
Oh, you can see that just fine.
Yeah, I see it perfectly
Okay.
clear as day.
Yep.
Okay, so if we go into settings and we start with general, it's a LiPo battery. I don't run the cutoff voltage. Normal direction. If you run a slash flipped around, you can flip the direction, so it's kind of nice. Number of poles is 2. The gear ratio and tire diameter, you can mess with if you want. It's so the log will read correct, but I really don't mess with that either. That's just some log settings that I don't think are real necessary. And when we go into the log, I'll show you the things that are important on the log that I look for. So the BEC voltage, this is pretty much the same menu in all the ESCs, right? So you have a 6-volt BEC and you have a 7.4. I'm running the R1 servo, but I also sometimes run the lights, and the lights are a 5-volt light.
Yeah.
So I run 6-volt just because I don't need a crazy fast high voltage servo, and if I do plug in a light, I want to be a little easier on the light. So either one will work great, but if you do switch to 7.4, make sure you got a high voltage servo. I recommend the R1 servo.
Of course.
It's a good servo. I have it in all my cars. Okay, so this is where it's going to get kind of cool. So you can see this, right? And there's all sorts of
Whoa.
crazy curves. And
I like that one.
when you purchase like a Rockwell tune, he'll have his own curves in there, which are pretty cool. So this is a feature that I use that's different than Tekin and extremely valuable. And I'll get into this a little bit more because I got to zoom into specific areas on the whiteboard to kind of tell you what kind of tools you have with this box. But there's 10 power curves. I have different power curves saved, so you can see, like, I'll change the I'll change the start power, and then I do a different ramp, and I'll change the start power again. And they're subtle enough where if I get a tune that's pretty good, but my numbers are getting wrong on the radio, then I'll bump it in this box. So I'll go over that in a second. I'll just cover the rest of these real quick, and then this is where we're going to spend a lot of time. Is just like in the radio, the power curve, right, in the radio. This is the important, in my opinion, the very important part of R1. So acceleration, I put this at 10. I believe this is a ramp, but I don't use it because I use the ramp in the radio. So it's instant. I put the acceleration all the way at 10. And this start power is very important feature. And I actually talked to Dibs about this because the start power is its own power. And I can set all of these dots in this graph to 0. And I put the start power to 100. And I pull the trigger. It shouldn't go anywhere because all of the power is set to 0. But it has its own power. It'll still run. So this start power is like, consider it like a launch power. How snappy, how hard do you want the car to hit? And this is kind of where it gets complex because this start power in combination with
the throttle start power,
the point
I
in the
was gonna
radio,
ask you that
right?
too, how that works.
And then if you look at like let's take ramp 7, you have the start power here, right? So you have this gives 9% start power, right? And that combines with, that's where it starts, with 80% on this, and then how much when you pull the trigger, the point number is how far you go up that graph. So I'm going to give some ideas for people on different ways that I can adjust the start power or the way the car launches. But that's what this does. And you can set this really low at like 20% and up the EPA and it launches good. Or you can set it really high and down the EPA and it launches good. So there's just a couple numbers that are dealing with the launch. And this overrides all of it. At first I'm like, man, that means I can't control power with the radio. Because this is going to, if it doesn't have enough in this number, no matter where I set the point, it's not going to have enough.
Yeah.
I was disappointed that this overrides the radio, but now I'm excited because there's other ways to use it, and I'll show you guys how in just a second. I'll go over the rest of this, and we'll come back to this. So, neutral width, this is how, when you pull the trigger.
Deadband?
Yeah. So I don't want to bump the car right on the line,
see that
so I
all
usually
the
set
time.
it on normal.
People set their car
Yeah.
and they're like shuffling back, and it's just like a bump.
Yep.
Launches their
So
car.
I give myself a little wiggle room. I usually go normal. The smoothing rate and the smoothing start rate, I don't use them, and I don't even want to know what they do. I don't want to smooth the power. I want all the power in the radio.
All
right?
of it,
I want all
baby.
of it.
All of it.
So the acceleration is a 10 the most, and the smoothing, all the smoothing functions are off. Reverse we really don't use, right? So that's irrelevant. Brakes, I don't really run any drag brake or any brakes on it. So this is kind of just
I run
stock.
like 30% brake overall, like 30 to 35.
I adjusted in my radio, so this is pretty much all the factory settings that it comes with. So you can run drag brake and it doesn't hurt it. You know, I think Chris Schwartz runs 30 or 40% drag brake and it's fine. So I would just say on the brakes that when I run a tune that's high up in timing, or there might be a little bit of heat in the ESC, I'll pause for a second before I hit the brakes.
On the
right?
brakes.
Yeah. I usually will.
Do you ever run ABS or anything like that?
I tried that. I had some weird things happen with ABS in the M17, so I usually set my brakes at about 80% or 70%, and I can feel. I'm so used to it
You
now.
feather
I
it
kinda feel
yourself,
yeah.
kind of.
Then when it slows down a lot, I'll kind of turn a little bit.
No,
and
me
get
too.
stopped,
Let
right?
it
So
slide. Yeah, let it.
I don't know why, but I can't continue to go straight for the whole run. So, but the brakes are, whatever you feel right, whatever you like. But I wouldn't set the drag brake at 100 or anything like that. I would keep the drag brakes pretty low. 30 or 40% is the highest we've run, and there's been no issues with it. Me personally, I'll just run. When I let off, I'll let it coast for a second and then hit the brakes. So I let everything kind of calm down and the motor go to, the problem is if you hit full throttle and then you instantly hit the brake, all the power that's going for the motor now it kind of comes back to it, right? So
Yeah.
I do mentally just kind of do a split-second pause before I hit the brake just to be safe. So I don't know what it can take. I've never burned it out hitting the brakes, but just be cautious of that because I have heard situations where ESCs burn out with brakes.
Yep.
Okay, so frequency, This is a good tuning tool, and I haven't messed with it. I haven't needed to mess with it much because I can control the power the way I want to control it. I think there's more to this in the frequency, but I kind of just set it in the middle. I know when you run a really low frequency or a really high frequency, it generates a lot of heat. So for me, the heat is more important than what it does to the power, so I run it kind of in the middle. In the middle generates the least amount of heat. So I think the lower the number, the power gets more, that it gets stronger, like torquey. And when the higher the number, I think it can go all the way to 32. Yeah. So the higher the number, the smoother the power gets, but the harder the FETs work. Every time, it's hertz, so it's 32,000 times a minute or whatever. Whatever it is, the higher the number, the harder the FETs work, the more heat it generates. And it also generates a lot of heat when you get it really low. So somewhere in the middle, I don't know the limits of this, but I really don't touch this. It's usually set at about 10 or 12. Drag is the same way. Drag brake, you set it really low, the brakes will be really aggressive. You set it really high, the brakes will be softer. So that's enough on brakes. Okay, so boost.
I don't know about the boost, baby.
So this is where it gets interesting.
Well, and boost is
so
you have a certain beginning like there's a RPM range for boost, right? Like, 'cause some people have the DRK where it's just timing. They just timings comes in a certain position. Now, boost, if I remember right, because when I used to run a hobby wing, had boost and turbo, which this has boost and turbo, right?
correct. Yep.
So boost is like low RPM range, and then your turbo is like your higher RPM. I don't know. Like,
Yeah. So
it's
there's
like a
multiple.
car. You got boost, and then your turbos kick in.
On these settings, normally boost is throughout the. You can do RPM based boost. You can do throttle based boost, and you can control either one, like in a curve. So I personally like the auto throttle. I know it's different than what most ways people tune, and partial throttle stuff. Like, let's say, it's a good way to describe this. If you do RPM, like if you do Tekin and you RPM based, the problem with that I can see, or I didn't realize it at the time, but now that I have all these choices, I can see a slight disadvantage where if the tire spins a little, it's going to add, the RPM goes up and it adds timing.
It's going to add that timing because it's
so it'll add more
recognizing.
power as it spins, which is bad, right?
Yep.
So when I do throttle-based timing, if the tire spins, the timing doesn't adjust or add more power to it. So
there was a ESC I had that was either throttle based, RPM based, or you could do like a combination throttle and RPM where it's like if whatever one comes first or something like that. But I could add it where it was throttle and RPM where it was a combination.
Yeah. Okay. And
I don't know how it would work, but whatever one came first. So if it saw my throttle was there and then I came in at that certain RPM, then it would allow it. Or if my RPM was too high but my throttle percentage wasn't there yet, it wouldn't allow it to kick in until that throttle percentage was there. I don't know how it works, but I think there was something along those lines.
For this, the way that I'm tuning, to keep it as simple as possible, it's a linear ramp for auto throttle, and this is 100% throttle at the end. It's basically saying when you give it throttle, at the end of it, it's going to give it 10 degrees total. And if it's a partial throttle, it'll give you partial of that timing. So if I want to control the throttle pull, I put as much timing in the throttle pull as I can so that I can control the power, right? Like if I have 20 degrees timing in the auto throttle, it's going to make X amount of power. But if I have 50 degrees in the auto throttle, it's going to make more power than the 20.
Yeah.
So I'll have more control of the power throttle position based. So
Gotcha.
the way that I control power with the radio, I like the radio. I usually run a fairly good amount of auto throttle timing, and it extends the ramp of my radio so that I can control power throughout the run with the throttle.
Gotcha.
If I ran 10 degrees on the throttle, I might be in full throttle by a third of the track. But if I run 50 degrees on auto throttle, I might not get to full throttle until past half track. So it gives me more control on the radio control of the power.
Okay.
So I hear theories that there's more power to be had in the turbo side of it than the boost side of it. I don't know I haven't played enough to find that out or not. I'm just looking at the total amount of timing I put in the motor. But I do know from Steve that when you put a lot of timing in the end bell, the software can't control dangerous situations. Like there's more control of the timing when it's software based rather than when it's mechanical in the motor. So if you run 40, 45, 50 degrees timing in the motor, it's a more dangerous situation than if you run the optimum or more efficient timing and then control it with the software. Because from what he's saying, there's a lot going on in the background to control timing that we don't need to know, right? Like so there's just, it's a better situation if you software time it.
Yeah.
So like what you're talking about when you do throttle, there's another, let's see here. This boost and this throttle, you can do it throttle percentage wise. Like right now, if you give it 10% throttle and auto throttle, it's going to give, if I run this all the way up, you're allowed to run 58 degrees. I'm trying to figure out the best way to, this shit gets complicated. So let's say we have this at 58 degrees and I pull, it goes to half throttle. I go 50% throttle. It's going to put in 50% of 58 degrees.
Yeah. So
right?
20, whatever that. Yeah.
So yeah. Whatever that is. 30.
Oh,
what is that?
shy of 30.
Yeah. 29 degrees. Yeah. So, and the more throttle I give it, the more timing it gives. And until it hits 100% EPA, the motor isn't loaded super hard. Like we're trying to control power because the tire can't put it down. Once you get to 100% throttle, then we want the thing.
Ideally,
right.
if you're at 100% throttle, you should be.
It should be stuck and going.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So then after the fact, if I hit auto throttle here, let's see. I'm getting screwed up on where I'm at in the menu. Auto throttle. Okay. So let's say, and I usually run this pretty high. We've been experimenting with in the 40s and the 30s, but I run this pretty high. And every motor is going to be different. So don't everybody go put everything at 58 degrees, right? But normally for an R1 motor, I'll start out about 85 or 90 degrees total and then start bumping it up. And this is an important feature or tool is how you figure out where the optimum timing is I'll start out at, let's say, 90 degrees and run it. And I'll look at the current and I'll look at the mile an hour if I'm doing GNSS. And if the current is, I think the limit when you should start worrying is in the 400 amp range. And I've run higher than that and not failed, but I've heard that 400 amps is kind of, that if you're putting out 400 amps and you have one of their R1 batteries and holding 6.3 to 6.7 in the voltage, you're making a lot of power. And I wouldn't go much beyond that. I mean, I've hit 450 and it didn't burn out, but I think it's hard on things. So 400 is a good number to shoot for. And if you gear up, your current goes up. And if you put more timing in it per RPM, the current goes up. So that combination is what you need to figure out. And how you figure that out is, when I started with an 18 pinion and a 96 spur, so it's fairly low. And I ran it, and it pulled 350 amps. And I'm like, okay, that's at 90. That's at 85 degrees. I'm going to go 90. And then the amp went up 10 more, and I went 95, and it went up 10 more. And you get to the level that you feel comfortable with the current and stop. And if you add timing and it doesn't get any faster, then you're reaching the limit of what the motor can do without reaching the current limit. You're just going to start generating heat if you get too much timing in it. So timing doesn't equal horsepower. You can over time it, and then it just turns into heat and starts fighting itself, and it'll start actually slowing down. So every motor combination is different with different rotors, and the system that I use to find out where the limit of that motor is I'll gear it. I'll gear it to what RPM I think the motor should run. So I know a 3.0 motor is good from anywhere from 90 to 95,000 all the way up to about 110,000. So if you want to start out with lower current or safer situation, you gear it low. So I started with an 18 pinion. It spins about 110,000, and then I started at 90 degrees, and then I went 95, and then I went 100. And I'm running right around 95 to 100 is about optimum for the and that's a lot. I mean, I don't want people to burn out their stuff, but that's about what I'm running. If you time it to that timing with that gear and an R1 battery, it will go extremely fast if you have the car and the traction to do it. That combination will go close to 80 miles an hour. That doesn't mean that the track can hold it. That doesn't mean that the tire will hold it. That doesn't mean that There's so many other variables, but I know you'll have the power to go that fast. So how you put that timing in, there's all sorts of variables. I do it with auto throttle, and then once it hits the max throttle, I'll add a little bit of turbo at the end. And how you can do that is this number 5, right? So if I hit auto throttle, I can go here. You can add up to 58 on the turbo, and you can add up to 58 on the boost. So if I have 58 on the boost, and I want to add a little bit more on the top end, I'll add 5 or 10 degrees here. So that if I put 10 there, then I'm at 68, and I got 30 on the can. That's 98 degrees. That's a pretty damn good tune. That should really help. Yep. But how do you put that last 10 in? So that 10 comes from here. So you can delay it. So if I wanted to wait a tenth of a second before the power comes in, the extra timing, I can delay it. If I want to slope it, you can see I have that timing, just a little bit of timing coming in at a tenth of a second. So it doesn't just put it all in. It ramps it in at a very slow rate. And what's cool about this, just in the last race at the 480 event, I was running a little less boost. I was running I think it was 40 or something, and I had 30 on the turbo. So I had a lot of it coming in after full throttle, and I watched the car in my test run, and about half track I see it wiggle. So it's all the timing coming in, and it was too much.
Gotcha.
So then I didn't back the timing off. I just delayed it like 3/10 of, or I not delayed, but I ramped it 3/10 of a second. So it takes 3/10 of a second for that extra 20 or whatever you put in at the end. And I did it like all in at the same time, and it spun. I did it at 0.15, and it wiggled a little, and I did it at 0.3, and it put it all down. So I'm like, cool. So now it's adding extra power after 100%.
It's like every 0.3 seconds, it's adding a certain amount of timing into it or whatever, or whatever that number is.
Yeah, if I put this at let's say I put this at 0.3, and then I go into auto throttle, and I put this at, like a realistic tune would be this, right? So I would go, okay, I'm going to put this at 30 degrees, and I put this, okay, and I put this at, hang on, I got to go back in there. It's hard to do this upside down. And I put this at, come on.
There you go.
There we go. So I put this at 30. Okay. So now I got 60 degrees added by the software, and I got 30 in the end bell. So it's 90 degrees. That's a realistic tune. And if I put this at 0, then once it hits 100%, it's going to add 30 degrees timing.
Bam.
And almost guaranteed it'll spin the tires.
I promise it will.
It's a lot coming in all at once.
Yeah.
So then it gives you, there's theories on, okay, I want to add that, but I want to add it over 0.3 of a second. So now it's going to add 10 degrees every tenth.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And if it still spins or the voltage goes down, you can try, this is kind of a cool feature too, where I've done this where I'm going to delay the timing before it comes in 1/10 of a second. So it's going to hit 100% throttle. It's going to give it 1/10 of a second
to kind of relax.
for the battery to relax,
Yep.
right? And then you hit it with more timing again, and it'll pull the battery. So this adjustment is your top end. And I don't have as much time on this type of adjustment as I do the first half of the track. This is kind of last half of the track adjustment after you hit 100% throttle. And this is important, but I think the killer ETs are done with the first half. And this is where you get the mile an hour, the hard drive on the top, right? So I've hit, I think, 84.5 with this car with the stock stuff at about, I think I was a little over 100 degrees timing. But again, you want to start out at 80, 85 degrees and keep bumping 5 degrees till you reach that current limit. And I can kind of, when we go over the graph, the log, I can kind of show you what I look for in the log, but don't go out and put 1hundred20 degrees timing in your motor.
I'm doing it.
Right? I mean, it's
Starting right out.
I got my car, and I'm
I'm kind of putting myself at risk talking about these tunes, and I don't want people to hurt their equipment.
Yeah.
So
I'm blaming you too. You're warranting it for me.
I'm trying to be as honest as I can about how I run the equipment, but I want to drill it into people that how I get there is a safe way to get there, where you start out at a low gear and you start out at a low timing, and you bump it 5 degrees, and you bump it, and you bump it till you get to the current level that you want. And the other thing I should say too is I've seen ESCs read funny on current, and I run pretty much solely. I've tested other batteries, and there's strong batteries out there, but I run the same battery all the time because I know what the battery should pull to. So if I see somebody sends me a log, and I go, okay, what battery? What combination are you running? And their battery says 6.9 volts, but their current says like 600 amps. It's like, your current sensor's wrong. Something's strange, because at that amp rating, it should have pulled the battery way down. And it didn't, right? So you have to take the current sensor. I've seen a couple of them. Most of them read the same, but I've seen a couple of them read funny. And it's one of the main reasons why I always run the same battery is I know an 80-mile-an-hour pass on the small battery should read about 6.3 volts, and it should read about 6.7 on the big battery. And if I pull that big battery down to 6.3, then I'm pulling way too much current. No matter what the current sensor says, I'll swap the battery and say, okay, let's see if it still pulls that down or whatever, right? So there's multiple things to look at to know if you're in the safe zone or not. So, if you do 80 degrees, and you have a full R1 system and you do 80 degrees timing, and it pulls 450 amps or something, look at your battery and see, is the small battery at 6.3 or higher, or the big battery at 6.7 or 6.8 or higher, and use that as a reference also, because that's a direct relation to how hard you're pulling on the battery, how much current you're pulling. So, okay, timing. I think I went over the majority of this, and the other thing I need to say is this timing is for this specific motor, and the rotor and the motor completely change with a different motor, like how much current it'll pull per timing. And like motive, I loaded my tune into a motive motor car and pulled massive current. I was like, whoa, like you need to back it way off. That optimum timing might be 75 or 80. Then you pull you put a phantom motor in it, and the optimum timing could be 65 or 70. I don't know, but I do know that it drastically changes. Even with the rotor, it drastically changes. So you want to start at a low timing setting and sneak up on it for your combination. This combination runs more timing than any other combination that I've run. The 13.5 R1 rotor and the 3.0 motor, it likes timing. But don't put this timing setting in any motor, because bad things can happen. I can't stress that enough, right? So, and that's the limitation of what I have for knowledge is I don't know. I solely run this stuff, and I don't know. I've seen what happens with other motors, and even with like a Rockwell motor, Frank Greer bought the entire Rockwell setup, and his motor, it made a ton of power, but it pulled more current for different. It was different. We had to time it different. So just from a rotor change. And the 13.7 rotor for the same tune will pull 20 or 30 more amps.
Yep.
And so just you have to be very careful. This is a breakable system. It's very strong if you follow the parameters of don't put the in-bell at 0 degrees timing. Run 20 degrees at least, or 15, or run timing in the in-bell. And when you start approaching 400 amps in the current, make small moves so that nothing burns out. Okay, so back to the software. So auto throttle, you can choose how much timing you run on auto throttle. This turbo timing comes in after you hit 100% throttle, and then you can control how that comes in. You can even control when you let off the gas, how slow the timing pulls out.
Yeah.
So I usually just leave that at 0. If I hit the gas again, I want it to ramp in. I don't want it to instantly come in. So this is more, I think, of an on-road thing when they're off and on the throttle a lot. So, okay, so I think there's other features of this, but this is the way that I use this. So if there's questions on time, RPM based, or the other I don't use them a whole lot. So I don't have a lot of experience with it. Okay, let me go back. Let's see here. So let's look. I'm going to take this and let's look at a log real quick, and I can show you what I look for. There's a guy asked a good question online about what do you look for in a log, and how do you read it to tell if you need to change something or if it's good or bad. So let's look at a log from my last run on this car. Oh, I could show you this is a cool feature too. Now, before I go into the log. So as a team, we try and all run the same stuff. And I'm constantly messing with the software and timing and different combinations to try and run. Oh,
There you go. Yep. There you go.
okay. So
it just looks better.
yeah, there we go. So as a team, we try to all run the same equipment, the same tune, and we both kind of build off each other as each other run. And one really cool feature of this is I can say I want to export the tune that I have, and I can type in a name and hit OK, and it saves my tune as a file. And then if I want to then connect to a different car, I can see Frank Greer's car, or I can see Chris's car, or Mario. I could say, okay, I'm going to connect to your Wi-Fi and give you my tune. And it's as easy as connecting to their Wi-Fi and then importing their tune. And I have a few of them in here right now. So you can see, like, I have a bass tune, an Irwindale, King of the Streets, what I've been working on. So I just load that tune, and it takes a split second, and the entire map, the entire tune is in there.
That's cool. So you can just load it in somebody else's car.
Yeah.
Nice.
So let me get to the log here real quick.
You got time for a quick question?
Sure.
Really quick, guys. We're not doing a whole lot of questions today, so I'm just going to do the last one I see, which is Ryan Clay. I'm running both 7PXR with Devin's car and Sanwa with mine. Will auto throttle work with 2-speed in 7PX?
I don't know 7PX well.
You only know M17s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was already going to say that. I already knew what you were going to say.
But I do know this directly relates to the Tekin type M17 tune. I use the exact same tuning capability or process in the radio with the R1 as I do. And that's why I kind of use auto throttle is I'm familiar with that, so I wanted to have the same type of tune as Tekin because I got really good at that. So,
yeah.
You were really good at that.
If anybody can answer, if anybody can answer Ryan Clay's question, and you're running an 7PXR, man, help me out with Ryan.
He's
man.
an M17 guy. Jesse Kinder's got you.
Okay, so this is a good log to look at. So, I think this could have been one of the last Miami runs, or maybe a test run here. I can't remember the last time I ran this, but
That's the Moon tune.
this is a fairly mellow. This isn't a crazy tune. This is the small battery, so 360 amps, so pretty mellow hit. The battery held 6.7 volts, so the battery. That's about what I would expect for 360 amp pull. At when you get to the 400 range, that battery drops to 6.4 or 6.3.
And that's showing. So in your points right there, right?
Yeah, that's at the end of the run, like the max current.
So like, how can you show? Where would it show you your low? That is your lowest point for your voltage, huh?
Yeah, probably. Like there's 6.8, there's 6.7 at the end. Yeah.
Okay.
And this is the blue line is current, so that's peak current right there.
Yep.
So 380 for current. That's at 89% throttle, so you can see I'm still ramping in the throttle. It's not quite to 100%. So I usually look at the end, like, okay, what RPM did it run? It hit 111,000.
So you started your current. Was it your current? If I'm reading right, yeah, your current started going down.
Yeah, so this
at
is
about 80% throttle somewhere.
Yeah, so if you look, one of the things I look for in the timing, if I'm going to look to see if the timing is correct, this was probably a little light on timing the way I was running because it reached a peak of 380 amps at 84,000, and then at the end it was 362.
Yeah.
So the current actually dropped as it got more RPM. So it could probably take another 5 or 10 degrees
does that
and
tell
hold
you you could have added a little more?
Yeah.
Turbo.
After full throttle, yeah,
After
I could add
full throttle,
yeah. I could
Once
add more in it and get a little bit more power on the top end.
And you would have been maybe maintains that. I don't know if that's a good thing, but maintains that higher current. But which with higher current usually means you're making more power still.
Yeah. It's
in theory.
As long as you'll see it kind of fall off a cliff if you overtime it. But I think this was a pretty fall off a cliff, meaning it'll pull a ton of current with not a lot of RPM gain or anything, right?
Yes.
So the blue line here is current. The kind of yellow mustard line is my throttle position. So I reach 100% throttle right there. And then the green line is the voltage. And kind of a critical line, or a line I look at a lot too, is the pink one is, or the magenta line is RPM, motor RPM. So it's a pretty standard curve. It doesn't like jump up and come back down like it spin. It's stuck all the power. The power line is fairly smooth. It looks like it might have had a glitch right there in the flat spot, but overall that's a pretty clean run and safe, where the thing went from 108 to 126 degrees, so it gained 18 degrees, which isn't a lot at all. If you see this gain like 50 or 60 degrees, then you know you're putting a ton of timing in it.
Yeah.
Some of that timing is going into heat. It's not real efficient. So this is a very safe tune. It didn't generate a lot of heat. The current actually went down. Ooh, I don't know why it's killing me here. Hang on. Upside down is killing me. So the current actually went down a little bit after peak current. So I could add a little bit more on the top. And that's just my rule of thumb. I don't have enough testing to know whether the current should continue to rise or if it should fall.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying in my theory of.
But I think in my mind that once it reaches peak current, if you can hold that peak current, it should be fairly efficient.
That should be a good run.
Yeah, that should be a good run. So I'll look at like if the voltage has a big dip in it, then it's probably overtimed or the battery is weak. If this is reading 400 amps, but the battery's pulling down to 5 volts.
I was gonna say, like, well, how would a tuner know what to do? Say if you, in theory, you would think that by 100% or somewhere towards in your run, that's when your battery's gonna sag the most. In theory, right?
Yeah.
Because that's when you're adding all the power.
Yep.
Your boost has already been added.
Yep.
You reach 100% throttle. Your turbo's now in. In theory, that's when your battery would probably sag the most. But what if someone's battery is sagging halfway through their run? Where would they go to look for something like that? What would be wrong?
Well, and I would agree, kind of, but I've seen the majority of my logs, the hardest current is right in the middle of the run.
In the middle.
Hit, because an electric motor works where, like the most power it'll make is at like 1 RPM, right? Like it's when it first starts, it makes just a massive amount of torque.
Okay.
If you want it to. So the more RPM it gets, the harder it kind of be. It's kind of like the harder it becomes to make power, but normally I'll see the peak current pull and the peak power right at 100% throttle.
Okay.
And because that's when the RPM's the lowest for the EPA being the highest, and it pulls the most current. As the RPM gains, that's the tricky part, or the hard part of all of this, is to try and keep that pull towards the top end. It's hard to keep that power level up as RPM goes up.
Gotcha.
So yeah, if you were saying, like, if you saw a weird dip, I would look at timing in that area. I saw a guy, I dealt with a guy a while ago that had that, where he had this big drop in current, or in voltage, and his current really spiked up, and he was adding instantly, like 40 degrees timing at 100% when I saw the setup. So I'm like, hey, you can't do that. You got to smooth it in, so you don't want to shock the system with a big timing. And it's all, this whole log is pretty much related to gearing and timing. It's how much RPM are you getting, and then what's your car doing when you add timing, and when the current just goes nuts. 400 is safe. That's it.
Yeah.
So watch.
No, I know. I was hanging out with Jake, and he told me he pulled like 410 or 450, 420. I don't know. It was in the like low 400s.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy cow, 400. I'm like, you're pulling 400 amps.
I can tell you with all honesty, I burned that one up with the end bell being at 0, and after that, I've pulled up to 470 or 480 amps, and I haven't burned anything out, but it didn't go any faster doing that. Like, you'll see a mile an hour keep increasing, and then it kind of levels off, and it just starts generating heat. So the thing can pull a lot of current and live under the right environment, but it doesn't need to. You want to find that spot where the heat starts going up and the power doesn't go anymore, and that's it. That's what the motor will make. And if you want to make more power than that, you got to find a different gear or a different rotor that might pull better for the weight of your car. And that's another thing that is really susceptible. When I drew this graph of this, this thing we talked about earlier, this makes it. Let me see if I can. Well, I got this whiteboard now, man. I didn't even use the dang thing. I was all excited to use the whiteboard.
You know what?
God,
It's
damn
yours next time if you need it.
It's going to be put up on. It's like right here. When you leave, Mark, it's
Yes, I'm going to hang it right there.
Yes. Yeah. So, with the Tekin setup, weight didn't matter. I could have a 2,100 gram car or a 2,600 gram car, and it would pretty much go the same speed no matter what because the torque level was so high. The power level in the R1 system is extremely high, but the torque level is down. Like I can give it full throttle and it just continues to pull really hard. But when you add weight to the car, it slows way down. And what's interesting is Frank Greer has a heavier car, and I loaded my tune in his car and go down the track, and his car weighed. It was heavy. It was
Mine's heavy too, dude.
400 grams heavier than mine, right? I'm running. This is a minimum weight car, and he's running a heavy car.
Mine's like, it makes weight like 2160, 2200 without its body on it.
Yeah, this car without I actually have a little bit heavier body now, but with the Corsa gray body, I have to have the GNSS in it to make weight. So it's very, very light. So that type of car, I did this tune, and then we loaded that tune in Frank's car, and it was slow. I was like, wow, it needs way more power than that because it's pushing more weight, and the torque level is down. And that's one of the values of the R1 system is the torque level is down, so it's forgiving. When you start adding power to it, it's got this power band. I don't know how to describe it any other way than like a rubber band. And when you give it power, it stretches that rubber band and then pulls real hard on the top end. And it's weight sensitive. So that's when we tried a 13.7 rotor, and the 13.7 rotor made more torque and was less weight sensitive, but then it was harder to tune. I could spin the tire too easy. It was too sensitive. And another, to be completely transparent, another failure that we had was I broke the shaft in the 13.7 rotor. Mario did.
Oh, man.
So Mario in Miami was running the 13.7 rotor, made it all the way to the finals with that rotor, but he broke one before he did that. So we run the 13.5 because it is easier to tune with a little bit weaker rubber band, for less of a better term. You can hit full throttle and stretch the rubber band tight, and the thing pulls real hard with its power band. 13.7, you have to watch the EPA a little bit more, and the rubber band is tighter, and when you give it more gas, it'll spin much easier. So I said this before, but R1, Steve has figured out a really good combination with the 13.5 rotor where it makes enough torque to pull pretty much any weight car, but the tune is different, pretty drastically different from a light car to a heavy car because of that torque, because of a system that doesn't have as much torque as like a Tekin 2.0 or something. So I think, I don't know if I got anything else.
The funny part is, in my head, I always thought when you went lower turn motors, everyone in theory always said that lower turn motors had less torque, more RPM. So that's so funny when you say that we had a 2.0 that made so much more torque. In my head, I'm like, that's opposite what I've always thought.
That's true in a sense, but it just made more power overall. Like it didn't even really have a power band. It was so much power that even the V3 was ridiculous.
Was
torque.
it like a Banshee 350 on,
Yeah,
on like just nitrous?
So to give you an example of the Tekin 2.0, the Phantom V3 2.0, I shifted when I first got the first test ones. I shifted 2% power and it spun the tires, and I crashed the car. I'm like, Jesus, I can't even shift 2% with it out just going nuts because it instantly wants to move the tire to that RPM of the EPA or the dual rate it's at. But in this car, I can shift 5-10% in the EPA, and I'll see the car react, but it's soft. Where, I'm moving that, it's soft, but then it pulls harder because of the rubber band stretch, and it's going to catch back up again. So it's not such brutal torque that's unusable.
You don't run an EPA though, really, on throttle EPA on your 3.0s though, right?
So I can. Maybe another session of this, I could go over some radio tune stuff, but I do shift. And a thing to note, this is what I found. I don't know if this is exactly accurate, but that boost, that the end, what is it? Is it turbo? I always get confused with turbo boost, but after 100% throttle, after 100% throttle, that timing comes in. Where that throttle trips is actually, or that timing is actually like, I think it's around 95%, 94, 95%. So if I'm going to shift, I'll usually, there's tunes that I'll run 90% dual rate in my M17. And I'm confident at 90% it doesn't put that last amount of timing in it. So I'll run and tune my car to 90%, and then when I hit the button, not only does it change 10% EPA, but it could put in like 30
Whole
degrees
bunch of
timing or something,
timing.
right? Yeah, so my
Yeah.
shift can be
Yeah.
not
Ridiculous.
not just a dual rate change, but then a big timing change to add in a lot of timing on the top end. So I think it's a better situation than previous where I'm just bumping EPA, because I can bump timing and then have timing come in 0.3 later if I wanted to,
Yep.
right? So that's a cool switch on the M17 where I might do a 70% hit and then I'll jump, or 75, then I'll jump to 90. And then if I need it, I can hit it again and it'll ramp in a shit ton of timing at the end of the track, right? So those are some of the tricks that you can do with the radio to control power.
I need those radio tricks. I finally got one of those.
There's a
fancy
lot of
ones.
little radio tricks. It's pretty cool. Okay, so I want to go. Oh, you know what? I'm going to use the whiteboard, Billy.
Oh, yay!
Here we go. Ready? All right.
Awesome.
So the last thing I wanted to go over, and I think this is one of the most important parts, is how to control launch. And there's a couple cool ways to do this. So if we go to settings, hopefully it's still connected. Okay. And this box, right? So we'll go, let's use kind of a straight one here. So we'll use like this one. Okay. So I think people that watch this video should also have a pretty good understanding of how the M17 works. Because at least for this type of tuning, you need one to work with the other. The settings I'm going to show you work with the M17 radio. So the critical things, I'm going to focus in on this part. Like, let me get a ramp that has more than 2 dots here. So if we do like that one. Okay, that's a cool one. Okay, so I'm going to focus in on this spot. And don't copy this curve. This curve was an experiment. It didn't work real well. So I'm not accidentally giving up something. This was a test that, I try all sorts of crazy curves, and this one, I can tell you the problem with this one is the timing didn't come in soon enough. The slope on the top end is too soft before the timing comes in. So this might be a Tekin type curve, but the R1 curve usually is straighter on the end because I want it to get to the 100% to add the timing in and not fall off like that. So, and another difference in the R1 compared to the Tekin is the Tekin curve might look like this because I'm going all the way to the end of the track before I hit 100%, where the R1 ramp, I'm hitting 100% at half track or before. So this type of curve that hits half track, you don't want this soft end of it. You want more of a straight line. But I'm going to focus in on the first couple dots, and I'm going to draw different systems that I got, or the different types of launches that you can do. But note, when I move this, and this is why I use this instead of like a P number system in the radio, is when I move these numbers, I'm moving them. Like you have this at, let's say the second dot is 20%, right? So X is 20% and Y is 23. When I move this, it moves in partial percentage. Like each movement is like 0.2%. So see, it stays at 20% for a couple numbers and then moves to 21, couple numbers, 22, right? I think it's 8 numbers or something. So the resolution of these dots is extremely high, much higher than what the radio is. The radio is in 1% increments, and the radio in the P number values only moves, you have 9 dots or 9 positions at 10% each. So I can move these dots anywhere, right, within the next dot. So I can move in basically 10th increments, and I'm not confined to 10% intervals. I can put, I think, up to 16 dots or something crazy in here.
That's wild,
crazy,
dude.
dude.
Yeah. So this resolution, like I'm a software guy, and you want to figure out the best software solution for what you're trying to do. And I love the P number tunes and stuff for Tekin, but for this gives you a much higher resolution. It's basically 10 times the resolution of what the radio can do, and I'm not stuck at the 10% increments. So, and there's other reasons to use this too, but that's the main thing about this. Using this is a very powerful thing to use. You want to use this type of curve and not just run a straight line and do it in the radio. So when you do it this way, then what's cool in the radio is the M17, if you're starting to learn it or if you learned it, you can either run P number or you can run a curve like an expo, or you can run like one dot, and which nobody ever runs. But now when you run P number, I can't move power forward or back because you have to change individual numbers. So I was taking a picture of my tune and then moving the couple numbers and see if it goes faster. And if it didn't, then I'd look at the picture and I'd move the numbers back. And I'd lose my tune if I didn't take a picture of it. So there's such thing as too complex where I was dealing with too many numbers.
Yeah.
So now what's cool is I can do all sorts of different curves in this. I can save 10 different curves. And I don't have to move the dots. I preset where the dots, I think the dots should be. But then in the radio, it runs through a complex curve, and I can expo. Now I can use the expo feature in the radio and move this curve forward or back. I can move a complex curve closer to me or further away using the expo. Right, so it's crazy adjustment that you don't have with Tekin, where Tekin you can either do a complex curve in the radio, or I can do a straight line with expo forward or back. The expo is what we started with. I think Jeff Z kind of made the P number tune popular with his video of the M17. But now this is, I think, even an evolution of that, where I can run a P number style curve, a complex curve, and still expo the thing in the radio. So it's crazy good. And the resolution's 10x what the radio is. So, okay, I beat that one to death.
I like that. That's crazy. There is a lot of adjustment in that thing.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with.
Don't draw on your iPad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you could do the same thing.
I thought he was about to.
So this start area, like the first 20% throttle, is what we're going to focus on. Okay, and I'm gonna have to draw this and flip it because I can't draw it. Well, I'll try it upside down. Okay, so I'm gonna draw this and then I'll flip it because there's no way I'll draw it right upside down.
That's how good.
Okay, so the variables you have in the radio are. Yeah, please. That'd be great. Thanks. This is where the first 20 feet of the run is where the ET is made for sure. So this control, I think arguably it's the best way to control that's out there, but I'm not real familiar with DRK and some of the other ones out there, but it's crazy good. So what you have is point. You have, what was that called? Start power, right? The start power, yeah. So you have start power. And you have dot. Those are the three things that, I think we can do it this way. Let me write one more thing here. So each line will be like 10. Okay. So these are the three things that affect the launch. And there is expo too, but I don't use that much in the launch. So one way to control the launch is, let's say we do, okay, and this is 10. Does that look right? Yeah, cool.
Pretty good at that.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, so, okay, so point in the radio is how much it moves up this graph instantly when you pull the trigger. So let's say we have a point of, let's say 12. Okay, can I do that? All right, yeah.
Dude, I gotta figure out how to flip
freaking
your
tough.
camera, mirror your camera for
Yeah.
you, dude.
So if the point is 12, it's going to start like here. Okay, so it starts here on the ramp. It instantly puts that much in. And then it launches, and then the ramp goes nuts after the car settles down, right? So that's one typical way to do it, and that works pretty good. And this 12 can be controlled with start power. If it's hitting soft here, I can either up the point to here or here, which will bring this power introduction closer, or I can adjust the start power. And
Start power. That's
the start
here.
power that's in the software, right? So
What's and points in here too? Are these all tuning different ways?
yeah. So these are the things that we have to control the start power. So these are the
Gotcha.
dots, right?
Okay.
So you have the dots, and let's say this one's at 10. This one's at 18, let's say.
double. Oh, you got it. Hey.
Look at that. Okay. That's really hard to do right upside down. Okay, so
You're doing good.
these are the dots, right? So this is dot. The start power is this in the software, right? So start power I have at 80%. And the point is how far up I go up this graph before that instantly hits before it starts to speed number and ramp in, right? So man, I wish there was a better way to explain this, but I'll do my best. So when I up the, let's say you keep the start power in the software of the ESC at like a constant number. Let's say it's 80. Okay, so you don't change that. When I up the point number, two things happen. It generates more power, right? Because it's going to start further up the ramp, and it's going to bring this stuff, this big ramp in sooner. Okay, so this was the way I used to tune, and it works good. And if this ramp is kind of in the right spot where the car launches, it goes out, and then it starts ramping in a ton of power, and I like where that is, then I can move the start power to change the launch if it's not snappy enough, right? So that's one system to get it to launch correct. The other one, another way to do it, and I'll just throw a few different, I'm showing you the tools, and then how you make this graph is up to you. There's all sorts of different ways you can launch, right? So this was one way that I did it where you'd have a start, you'd have a dot that's maybe at 10 or 15%. You'd have another dot that's higher. Your point is on that slope that's kind of a slight slope. You move the point number higher or lower for how hard you want it to launch and when the major power comes in. And if you can't get the right launch and the right slope for the power, you would change the start power to increase or decrease your launch. So that's one system. Another system is, let's say you have massive sticky stuff on the track. Massive, right? And it happens. You might want a curve that looks like that. Then just throwing out examples where it hits, the minute you hit the P numbers here, it's going to spike all this power in and then delay and let the car settle down and then ramp back in again. So it can break the tires. You know, it can get out of the sticky stuff. You have a massive amount of traction.
Oh, okay.
And then let the car calm down a little and then go, right? So I've seen tunes that work with this kind of shape that has a massive hit. The car calms down and then goes. So the point then works backwards, which is kind of difficult. So you want a smaller point that hits hard because the further down the graph you get, the less the actual hit is. So that's another way to use these tools. I mean, I'm showing you different ways that the tools work, and then every road, every day, every tire, every car is different, so you have to move this stuff around. The one way that I think is really cool, this is a different way to tune here. So the control of the launch is pretty ridiculous. So start over here. So you probably saw in these graphs another graph that kind of looked like this, where it's flat and then goes up. So this is a pretty simple, and let's say this dot's at like 18 or 20. Let's say it's at 20. Okay. Okay, so now this changes the tools a little bit, where this first part is flat. So this is 20. So this first part of the graph is the exact same power. So no matter where I put this P number, I could put it at 1.
All the way to 20.
I could put it to 19, and the amount of power it's going to hit is exactly the same. The only thing it changes is how soon this ramp comes in.
Gotcha.
So I'll find, it's kind of a cool way to launch, where I'll find the right combination of throttle on the dot and start power number, those two, I'll get the right launch where the car looks good. And then I'll just start upping the P number, or I'm sorry, the point in the radio to move this ramp closer and closer.
And the point, that's points in the radio.
The point number is it's part of the speed number in the radio. So it's how fast it instantly hits.
That's I'm learning about it. That's the that low number you set in it or whatever. Usually it's a low number.
So the speed. I should have brought my radio too. I thought about that. So I didn't want to get into a lot of the radio.
No, I told him. I even told him. He's like, "What do you think he's gonna be talking about?" I'm like, "It could get complicated because the radio and the R1 are married with they're tied with each other. So it's hard to talk about one versus not really getting a lot into the other."
So this point number I'm talking about is a function of the speed
in the controller.
So the speed the point number tells you when you pull the trigger how much instant EPA do I hit, right? And I usually run between 8 and 20.
Yeah.
At least on R1 stuff, right?
Yep.
And when you go below 8, it curves it a little. It's like a software glitch where you don't really want to run below 6. It definitely curves it. So I usually try and stick between 8 and 20.
Because you could see it. It's like super.
Well, it when you pull the trigger, you can watch like they have this function on the servo. They can do like a servo monitor.
A live, yeah. Like I said, I got it yesterday and I was watching everything. So you could turn the little knob, you could watch the servo monitor, and you could hit it, and you could see where it goes.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah. So when you go at 6, you'll see it instead of going boom, instant, it goes. So it starts smoothing towards the really low number.
So when you're at a certain low number, it's slow
it doesn't
to
act
that
the way you
point.
think it's going to act.
Oh, okay.
So you want to stick at like 8.
Gotcha.
Is the lowest one. And if I got to go below 8, then I'll move this graph to change what I need. So
points in the radio.
So
start
point-
power's in here, and dot is
this. This is I don't know. I need another whiteboard, Billy. I'm just kidding. Okay, so I've had good success with this style of launch where I'll find the dot, so the throttle percentage. So this is no matter between 1% and 20%. If I give it throttle, it's 20% throttle, no matter what I do.
even if it's like a feather touch of it.
Yeah, if I do 1% throttle, it's going to go 20%. Yeah. That's because this first dot, is that I'm sorry, hang on. Yeah.
The point, right?
Is there a better way to do this? Let me think about this. So right now it's 10 units up, right? It's 10% of the throttle, no matter what. For 20, it's 10% of the, so that you have percentage throttle, and then you have throttle pull percentage. So how much gas does it give it for how much pull? Normally what you're used to is if you give it 1% gas, it gives 1% throttle.
Yeah.
This is not that. So when I give it, on this graph, when I give it 1% throttle, right, trigger, it gives me 10% throttle.
If that's your.
If this is the curve
If
you
that's
use.
your point. If
Yes.
10.
Yes. So since this is 10, and this point.
Because I think when I first got my controller, the point, like stock, was like 100. Like you hit it, or not 100, whatever. Like you hit it, it's
Instant. There's
instant.
no speed to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I could explain that a little bit better. So in the speed function of the radio, if you just set it at like -96, let's say, you pull the trigger and it starts a certain speed all the way through the trigger pull. You can just instantly pull the trigger and the thing runs through a certain ramp, right?
Yeah.
That's this type of ramp. So you pull it, even though you're at 100% throttle, the thing's going to go so much.
and that's just based off that negative power.
So this graph is how do you control that throttle pull?
Mm-hmm.
How do you want it to look? And this graph would be if I hit 1% throttle, it means on this, it means if I hit 1% trigger, I should say,
yes.
it means 10% throttle.
Yeah.
And it means 10% throttle all the way till I pull it to 20% trigger. So no matter what I would do for the 20% throttle pull, it would only go 10% gas.
Gotcha.
So, and I take it for granted. I mean, used this for so long. I don't think I can explain it well because I skip over a lot of shit. So, so in this ramp, how the speed function works with the M17 is you have a point involved with the speed number. So if I give it a speed number of negative 96 and a point number of
30.
let's say 15.
15.
Okay. Then when I pull the trigger, it's going to instantly go to 15% throttle pull and then ramp in the rest at a negative 96 speed.
Now, how I'm sure it does. How complicated does it get when you've got that negative that 96 speed or whatever, that speed versus or the points? I guess your points. Like, so what if like
so it pulls. So it pulls. I guess a good way to do it is it's going to pull. If my P number is 10, okay, it's going to pull instantly to here.
But what about your start power too? Because like, how does that affect your point number? Because I would think in my head too, it's start power. So what if your throttle, your pull power is 10, but your start power is 80? How does that?
So it's just this is kind of an arbitrary number. If I put this at 10 and I put this at 50 and it launches soft, then I would try 60 and see if it launches harder. And if it try 70 and it launches, and if it gets to 90 or 100 and it's still launching too soft, then I would up this whole thing. I would up the point to a higher number. It's not giving it enough.
Okay.
The reference of the throttle pull isn't high enough.
Okay.
So
I know it's complicated.
yeah,
And
I'm trying to figure out. No, and you're asking great questions. I'm trying to figure out the best way to talk about this because this is not an easy. It's not an easy thing to explain. Because there's so many different. Yeah.
Is it?
So with this example, if I've set the P number to 10, the P number, the point number being in the radio, right?
Yes.
So the speed function, let's say we'll use negative 96 for everything, and the point number is at 10. That means when I pull the throttle, it's going to instantly go to 10% throttle pull and then ramp the rest in.
Yep.
So it instantly goes to here on the graph and then ramps the rest in. Okay, so this is what that ramp means. When it might ramp in straight in the radio, but what that means in the ESC is this. It's not straight. So for the next 10% as it runs through that speed, it's going to stay the same throttle. Gas, right? It's going to stay the same gas. So you hit it, it instantly goes to 10% throttle pull. It hits this much throttle, and for the next 10% throttle pull, it stays the same amount.
And that is your start power?
Start power isn't in this yet.
Oh, no. Oh, it's not even in there yet. So what's this one? What's this?
This is when it's instantly 10%.
Yeah, so
of
that's
the
your
throttle
instant
pull.
that's your instant throttle pull is the instant 10, right? Right here?
Correct.
And then that's going to jump it to 10. And what's this 10?
Okay, so this is just showing that this is 10%
Oh,
throttle pull.
gotcha. And then
10,
from
20, 30,
and then from this 10% you're talking about.
So from this 10 to 20% throttle pull, the power doesn't change.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
After it gets to 20, it starts ramping power in.
Yeah.
Okay. So this number, this 10, is how much power it's giving. Okay. And if this launches soft, I would up this number.
Okay.
So you want to get a good. That's what's kind of complicated about this is there's multiple numbers adding to power.
Yep.
And how much throttle pull you give it is one amount of power. The start power number is another amount of power. And then the what's the third one? Oh, the dot. So you have the point of how far along you are. Since this is flat, this doesn't change the power. So the point changes. The start power changes the amount of power, and where the dot is changes the amount of power. Since this is a flat slope, the point doesn't change the power. It just runs. The point is, instant power, right? How far it goes down this graph. So with this one, it just instantly goes to 10% throttle pull. The next 10% throttle pull keeps the same amount of power, and then it ramps up.
Gotcha.
So the cool way about this system is I can move this ramp as far as, like, if you relate this now to the track, when I pull the throttle, it launches, and when it calms down and can take a lot of power after the initial hit, I can move that power closer to me or further away by adjusting the point.
And the point that's in here, right? You said?
Nope, it's right here.
Oh no!
I feel like I'm in school again.
Because I'm learning it, and then you say something, I'm like, gosh dang
Let me
it!
do this. Hang on. Let me do this. This could be. This will be radio.
Okay, that may
This is. Let me do this here. Hang on. This is ESC. This is ESC.
both ESC.
Okay. Wish there was a better way to explain this.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's not made to be easy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everybody would be running 1.7s.
Exactly. Right? I'm trying to keep up with all these guys. Holy cow.
You've got a lot of questions on
Oh,
your hand,
my
dude.
God, man. I'm doing the best I can
And
over
if you
here.
don't answer them, you're going to hear it.
I got one guy, though.
I'm going to try to explain this again as simple as I can. I'll explain this. I'll start over and explain it one more time.
And I'm not answering.
No.
answering
I
your
want
questions.
you. If I can explain this and you understand it, I think it's a good test to see, because you're a race car guy. If I'm explaining it wrong and then they're not going to get it either. So I want to make sure that you get this. Okay, so you have radio point.
Which I got.
Okay, when you pull the trigger, it goes to whatever point number and then
Instantly.
ramps.
Yep.
After that, you have the ESC start power. That's just launch power. That's its own amount of power. That's
And
in the ESC.
you can mess with that, like if your point power, like you're 15 because you're using 15. If you're 15, you got a good road. You're 15 and your start power is not. Like you're like, man, I could do a little more on the launch. You could take your start power and mess with it a little more. And if you're messing with that start power a little too much, you're like, I need to put my point to be 20.
I need to raise the point up a little bit more, right?
20.
Yeah.
And now bring your start power back down to a tunable 80.
Right. Both of those numbers together equal how much snap you have in the launch.
Gotcha.
Then this dot
That's what
is when
that's
you're
where the
moving
dot's
up.
messing with me.
So
the dot's messing with me.
So the dot is if we need to move those dots up or not, right? So in this situation, the point is just how far along this curve it is.
Yep.
Where does it instantly hit? So for this curve, the point doesn't increase power. It just moves you along the curve further, right? This line.
Okay.
This line is time, right? Like this way is time. Okay.
Yeah. Because theoretically, if you were to put your point at 20, now you're over here. Boom, you skipped all that, and then you're right in the power.
Correct. Right. That's exactly right. So the way that this tune is, the point is how close to this power ramp you get.
I'm getting it.
Right. So that's if I run a larger point, the power is going to get closer to me.
Yeah.
If I run a smaller point, it's way over here on the graph, and it'll take a while, right? So it goes to here, and then it stays that power and then goes.
Gotcha,
so
gotcha,
the power will be
gotcha.
further
Yeah.
away before it ramps,
Yeah.
right? So I can move this ramp on the track closer to me or further away.
And the funny part
by
is,
just
you
the
said
point.
how many points you could put on there? Like 18?
Yeah, I could put 16 dots on it if
Jesus.
I want. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Or dots, yeah,
Yeah.
not points. Sorry, dots.
So, this type of launch is extremely powerful. This is how I launch right now: is a flat line, and then if I need more power, I adjust the start power.
Yep.
Right. I have a good feel for the car launches. You know, the tires come off the ground and sets back down, and then it ramps. And if I think I can get more power, I'll up the point and I'll move that ramp closer, so the car might launch, and then before it sets the front end down, it starts ramping the power in. And I can move this in very small increments to get it. I mean, I've even got it to where last time we were out testing, I could watch, and when the front tires start to set down after the launch, I can time where the power ramps in right as they come down. I mean, that's how accurate, or the resolution is high enough where you can really tune the power within like a foot or less of where you want it to come in. So you have the point, which is, at least for this flat curve, how close or far I want that power to ramp in.
Yep.
I have the start power, which is the snap, right? Along with the dot power. Those two combined are the total launch power.
Yeah.
this is probably the best way to tune. You can slope this. If you sloped this, then the point would change the power setting. If the more the point went this way, right?
Yep.
The more I'd instantly hit, the power would increase. That was the way I was doing Tekin. But since then, I've flattened this where the point only moves the power closer or further away, and the start power and the dot is how I adjust the launch power.
Okay. Is there ever a certain number you're really not below on start power? Like
I've heard tunes that have a high like 20, 25 start dot number and a 10 or 15 launch power.
oh,
Or
really?
start
So
power?
you've heard people being at as low as.
It's a combination of both.
Oh, he wants me to try to understand it that way.
Time. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that, yeah. So, yeah, you can have this, let's say I'm at 15 and my point and my start power is at 80. You could have this at 25 and the start power at 50, and it could feel the same way.
Okay, so you've seen people have.
I've seen people have very low start power numbers.
You have.
In the 20s or 30s, and it launches fine because their dot number
Is
is higher.
higher.
It might be up here.
Yeah.
And then this start power is 20
lower
or 30.
to kind of help ease it in.
You just want the start number or this dot number to be, when you combine it with the start power.
Yep.
The start power is really what you're going to adjust. So you want that number to be adjustable. You don't want it to be at 95 and only have 5 to go, or you don't want it to be at 5 and not be able to.
That's what
you
I'm
want to hit
trying.
somewhere
That's
in the
what I'm
middle.
getting
Yeah,
at.
yeah.
Is like you start at a certain one and you're like, man, okay, I'm going too much with the start power. I could just add more on my point. I could just add that instant power more on the hit and then just adjust with my start power,
Right.
because the start power seems like you've got a lot of that adjustability right there. A
Correct.
nice amount of adjustability.
Yep. And same goes with the point. I want the point to fall within 8 to 20, right? If I'm doing 40 for a point, this curve is too far out here. I need to move it closer because I want resolution in the ramp. I don't want it to have such a big number that I don't have a lot of resolution in the ramp.
Gotcha.
So I try and keep the point in the radio between 8, not get it too low, and 20 or 25.
Okay.
Right? Because the further you go up this ramp, this, let's say here's 100. If you flatline it all the way to 80, then you only have 20 to ramp it, right? I kind of split this up into 20% or less of this speed number is the launch.
Yep.
And then the 80% is the rest of my ramp. And if I got to move outside of those bounds, then I can change this number or this number to fall within that. So these are just the parameters that I'm setting, but this is one way to use these tools, but there's all sorts of crazy ways to use this. This is just the way I found that works good for me. Yeah, and then, this might only go to 90%, so then when you shift, it goes to 100, right?
Yep.
And adds in all the timing. You start analyzing the tools of the radio point, the speed, the start power, and all these dots, and the tuning capability is almost endless. Like it's crazy good.
Especially with 16 dots. Jeez.
Yeah, you can make a curve, and you can basically do I think I use 8 or 10, or maybe.
I was gonna say,
maybe
if
6 or
there's
8. It's not, you don't need to use a crazy amount, but they move in such a small movement, in 1/10 of a percent, that you can really fine tune. And what you can do too is, okay, all this whole map now can be moved up or down with dual rate, just like Tekin. So if I run 90%, when I hit 100%, this whole thing moves up. So I can move in couple percent increments to see if it'll stick it. And then if it does, I'll move this whole ramp up.
Oh, okay.
So I can test that, right? So the other thing I'll do is test with a shift, and I'll bump a couple percent. And if it sticks it, then I know this whole ramp can move up and be fine.
Gotcha.
So I hope that makes sense.
Makes sense to me.
I think that's about all I had. I can't think of anything else. I can try to answer some questions. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions I can't answer. But
They're everywhere. But let me answer that one up there. Doug Amatuli. Yes, this live will be saved, my friend. It's going to be saved on Facebook or YouTube. So you can go back and check it out too. So I know it's a lot to take in. But a lot of guys were, let's see. Marcus Welch says, I'm new to R1, Mark. See what he says. I'm new to R1, but I've run 0 start power. Did not know what it was. Only one day of tearing this setup. Point point in radio was 40.
Yeah, so I would probably, for the start, I would lower the point more like 15 or 20.
Okay.
And then start upping the launch power to mid-range, like 40 or 50, and see if you can get it to launch right. So you have that tool as an adjustment. You know, you put it at 0, and you can put your EPA at 100% or your dot at 100, and it's not going to hit that hard because there's no start power. You have to have both.
Okay. So that goes out to, let's run through this real quick, Mark. So that goes out to Marcus Welch. Marcus, thanks for watching tonight. Let's see. You gotta. I was trying to keep track here, Mark.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch
Yeah,
this.
no,
I was
it's
trying to keep this as simple as possible, and it got stupid complex. And
Everyone's going to be going faster.
Okay, hang on. Let me go. You do R1 batteries in stock. Robert Sheehan, they are actually out of stock. Philo Walker. Do you see anything up there that catches your eye, Abel?
What GC are you running? We're running the R1 Digital 3.
I already talked to him.
Okay.
We're good there. They have battery warmers. RC Fun says they have battery warmers.
Yeah,
Somebody said DRC had them, but
Yeah.
I didn't see them.
Well, my buddy had those, and that's what
I was on his
The
website.
accident
I couldn't
happened.
find them.
maybe he took him down.
Yeah,
he might have.
I looked everywhere.
It's a dangerous thing to deal with. Like, you don't want to.
Yeah, you don't just roll up and.
You don't, throw your battery on
Imagine
a 150
your
degree heater.
imagine your customers with their batteries saying, "Hey, Billy, how can we heat up our battery?"
Listen
And I probably
here.
shouldn't even mention that, but I just wanted to
Listen
make it
here,
clear
guys.
that I wanted to make it clear that the temperature of the battery matters. Like, it makes a power difference.
It does. A cold battery, just like you're cold. If you're cold, you're not going to want to exert a lot of energy.
You guys look at it like that.
Yeah.
You
Does
got a
anybody have any questions? Now's the time. Going back is going to be tough. I'm doing the best I can. John Bratton from YouTube says, heat them up an old school heating pad. Used one for years back in the 90s. Nobody knew it. Put it on the table with the towel over it. Nice.
I did use
torch.
they have hand warmers that I used recently that worked pretty good because I bought like 30 of them and they're cheap on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And I let it sit there and get hot, and when I gunned it with a temperature gun, it only got to like 105 or 110 degrees. So it's impossible for it to get too hot, right? So
Try not to fly with those, by the way.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I went through. I had big packets of it because it was gonna be cold in SoFlo. Cece knew it was gonna be cold, so she packed me with like 2 or 3 packs from Amazon. We got a whole bunch of them. My bag goes through. TSA, he goes, "That your bag right there?" I'm like, oh my god. Yes. I'm gonna need you to come over here with us. Step to the side. I'm like, oh no, my heart's racing. I'm like, I don't have anything bad. What's going on? he starts opening it up. He immediately he knew what he was looking for. He goes, "What are these?" I'm like, they're just they're hand warmers and foot warmers. He just opens the pack up and he looks at all of them. I don't know what he thought. Maybe packs of
It was drugs or something? Yeah.
And so I got super scared. I didn't know. I've never been pulled over by TSA.
They're legal. You can bring them. They just didn't know what they were.
They didn't know what they were. They just thought, they thought it was drugs or something like that.
Everybody, brother, Mark, everybody's like, my brains are on fire.
Yeah,
So is mine.
I feel bad because there's no good way to explain this, but it's. Man, once you get the hang of it, it works awesome. It's just hard to explain how to use it. At least the launch side of it.
Chris Gilliland says my brain hurts. Mike Zippy says everyone's going to be going faster or buying more ESCs.
I hope first is the case.
Big gear need a lot of turbo to make miles per hour.
I've run. So a tall gear will run less RPM, and a motor will have an optimum RPM range. So big gear doesn't necessarily mean more miles
per hour.
You just have to put the motor in the right RPM range.
Let's see. You're melting our brains. Marcus Welch, he was the guy that we talked about. You said drop down to 15 on his. He's the guy
on his
the start
point,
power
on his point.
on the point.
Drop
Instead
to
of
15 on the point.
you said he was at 40. You said drop it down to 15.
15
Yeah.
to 20.
15 to 20, and then start at your launch
40,
power.
50.
Yeah,
He
like
said
in the middle somewhere.
FDR question mark.
Final drive
Final
ratio.
drive. I think I'm 13 in the 13 and a half. So I might have to
Yeah,
calculate
all you do to calculate that is you get your pinion, your spur divided by your pinion, and you just times it by the gear ratio that's in your specific transmission.
Okay. Marcus Welch.
I thought about this a lot before I came on. How to explain this, and I don't think I might have to do this again in a simpler way. At
There's
least
always
at
like
least the launch side of it.
We did the tire show, and it was just like he was just like, "Hey, you want to do something fun? Like just test some tires?" I was like, "Yeah, it'd be a fun episode." People like took it really like super serious, and like they wanted to do like a more serious tire testing, and it's just kind of crazy.
Which we should. We talked about this.
No, and I called Billy.
He
about
did.
That.
He called
Hey
me.
man, you got to load
He
it.
said,
Like
"Listen,
that's a
man,
lighter
dude,
tire than this one. Yeah, there's
Thanks,
parameters of that.
Thanks, Leo Getz. I appreciate that. Jay Joseph says, you like auto throttle better than boost throttle? Just curious if you tried both ways.
I haven't. I've tried because I had success with auto throttle. I haven't tried any other way, and I always thought, and I take Jay's comments very heavy, very serious. The guy is super fast.
Yeah,
He's
fast.
R1 team, right?
Yep.
I've had good luck with auto throttle, and I've never really tried anything different. And I kind of figured before full throttle, how you put the timing in isn't a huge factor. I think the factors are how much total timing you get to and at what RPM. And the ramps all seem about the same, so auto throttle was just the easiest on partial throttle applications, partial horsepower applications.
South Florida RC Street Law says, holy cow, my brain is hurts. RC Fun says, has a temp gauge on the battery warmer can be set at temp. We're going back to the battery warmer.
Yep.
Jeff Fernandez says there's a new R1 chassis rolls out tomorrow.
I had no idea.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that either.
The R1 car is pretty amazing. We've really studied that.
So, do you know Jeff Fernandez?
No.
How the hell does Jeff Fernandez know when this little panel of guys don't know nothing about no new chassis?
But talking about Jay and the R1 car and the R1, they're Dib's kind of close team. I'm part of the R1 team and running their stuff.
Yeah.
But I am running an Apollo car. And the dynamic right now is the coolest that I think for me it's ever been in NPRC, because the R1 team has won like the last 3 or 4 races now with Joey Davis and Dibs and now Jay. And they're kind of a group of 4 with Yancey. I think Yancey's next. He's super fast. He's going to win one here pretty soon. But they're very respectful competition, and they're pushing. I'm kind of in the middle of the R1 team, and I feel like I'm, a GFRP, part of the GFRP team, and we're very competitive and very fast with Yulbrick and a bunch of people on that team. And there's a massive amount of respect between the teams, and there's a massive amount of competition to want to beat each other, and it's pushing development of the cars and power. And there's other teams out there that are very, very fast, but at least in my little bubble or my world, I think the R1 team is who push us the most to try and get faster. And recently they've whooped us, so we just crossed a bridge or figured out some cool stuff in the last week or so with the Apollo car, and we're gonna hopefully give them a good run here in the next race.
If you guys are looking for the heated lipo sleeve V2, it is DRC. It's drcproshop.com. drcproshop.com.
Oh, it's not Drag Race Concepts.
It's not, no.
Thanks. A word of warning, my
Leo
buddy
Getz.
has caught a battery on fire.
Yeah.
Cycling using that.
Nice.
I think you want to either cycle the battery or you want to use that, but not both.
Got it.
And really monitor the temperature.
Yeah, watch what you're doing.
Yeah, it's not something to play with. And just because the outside of the battery reads 100 degrees doesn't mean the inside of the battery isn't hotter. It isn't. That inside of that battery can go to a thermal rate even
I'm
with
use
the outside.
a microwave. A microwave cooks it from the
Yeah,
outside.
I wouldn't even go there.
Hey,
kind
kind of like everybody's brains right now.
Yeah.
Hold on. If you've tested the 2 different R1 caps, the 30 versus the 6 gram, I don't even think you use any of those.
No, I haven't.
No, because he was saying, so if you've tested them, which one do you like more? He doesn't even use a 30 or 60. He uses.
I can tell you the features of what they're going to do, though. The 60 is going to have a bigger gas tank, so it's going to take a voltage drop or a current load. It's going to put out more. It's going to level it out more, but then it's going to take more to fill it back up again.
Right.
I've run caps so big that I can run my entire car down the track with them.
You used to run a cap. I thought that was your battery, dude.
Yeah, it was.
Hey,
it was
remember when
150 gram.
He brought it in. It was like this big.
Remember when Eric, Dink,
Yeah.
he brought it when we were down there, brought it into the show, and he goes, Billy, you got to make sure Mark gets this. And I'm like this, what is it? It's a cap pack.
In testing caps, one of the tech things at the last year's King of the Streets was to tech your ESC too, because they thought that the cap could have more voltage than
The ESC, I mean the
Yeah, so they would tech. It kind of stopped or dropped off because caps became unpopular after a while. But they would tech the ESC and the battery to make sure that your cap pack, which was huge at that time, didn't hold more voltage than the battery.
Because people
booster
were
voltage.
charging them, weren't they?
I would use the battery to charge. When I would plug it in, you'd hear this kind of snap because it would charge the cap pack up.
Up to the voltage of the battery.
Yeah, yeah.
I know, because everyone's like, oh, yeah, your cap pack's going to not unless you're putting in like a 3-cell 3-cell battery to your
And this
cap
was
pack.
last year was I think a 4350 max amps battery maybe was what I was running. I can't remember, but the battery technology wasn't as good then it is now. Now I think the huge cap packs are gone. I don't think they'll ever come back.
I haven't seen much of them. Like you said, it was like a phase, like a fad. It was kind of.
We tried it, and and I think there's a place for it in testing and in making sure voltage stays current and smooth. It helps electronics like the 30 or the 60. And I think Jay even runs the 60. Like there's definitely a place for it, and you can make a lot of power. But the systems that I'm running right now, I haven't used them.
Ryan Clay says thank you. John Fullwider, his brain is toast too. Leo Getz is talking about the Bill Seiler says he just started watching, so his brain's okay. You already got John Fullwider on the cap packs. Somebody says you have a new floating body mount.
We're working on the Apollo, full floating body mount.
Henry Escalblan, I see you, dude. Hang tight. If I don't answer them here, they private message me. Just hang tight, guys. I'm going through everything. Can you see up there? You got anything up there?
Let's see, is this
Tony Arellano, you're welcome. Chris Hilborn says, I suggest downloading So Dialed to help keep track of all testing they do.
So Dialed, I guess that's an app.
Sometimes the only downfall to this is you don't understand sometimes. Jay Joseph says, great info, Mark. Thanks, Mark, for helping.
Yeah.
Chris Haynes.
He should be on here. He's that guy's one of the masters of R1 stuff. He should be on here.
Yeah. Had him on the show last week.
Jay?
That's right.
Yeah, what's the difference between R1 V16/V21 and the new Volta motors?
I've heard of the Volta motor.
They're right here. It's right here.
We got one.
Oh, look at that.
You want to see it?
There it is. There's the Volta.
Nice.
Roar approved.
So I know Steve talked about the Volta motor, and they don't have, at least at the time when I talked to him, he didn't have as much testing or data on this motor as he did the R1 motor.
Yeah.
I haven't tried one.
I saw Jay has a couple.
But I hear they're good. They're real good. Just looking at it, I like the fact that you can get to the rear bearing.
Oh, you've never even seen one?
No.
He's on the R1 team. He's never even seen it.
I really like the
open can.
Well, the 3.0 R1 motor has been incredible. So I haven't really tried anything different because I've had such good luck with it.
Grab that camera right there. Let's grab the camera right there.
What people have told me is because
let's show everybody this. This is the Volta motor here.
Oh.
Okay, I'm switched over. Show everybody so this is the Volta motor that he's talking about right now.
One of the things that I like is the back bearing is exposed, so you can oil the back bearing. On the Rockwell motors, he drills a hole or he puts some sort of access where you can oil the back bearing. On the stock motor, you can't. So I do like that feature. That's pretty cool. As far as I know, you can't. I usually take them apart.
Jay Joseph is testing it tonight.
Oh, cool.
So I do have these in stock, guys. I've got all the 3.0 Voltas, 3.0 regular R1s. Friday, I'll have the R1 all out with the 13.5 bearings and the rotor, sorry. So Dialed is an app.
It's got a lot of play in it.
They want to know. I know most stock motors do. I got to trim them.
Yeah.
I always mess my motors. But someone wants to know why there's no R1 logo on it.
I don't know.
They don't claim it.
I don't know much about this.
It's their private label line, the Volta.
Yeah, like the Premier.
Yeah. Oh.
Hey.
This goes to Mark from Mike Stables over on Facebook. Have you seen any advantage or disadvantages on the battery that's a 200C rating and a 400C rating?
The C rating is supposed to be how much the battery can flow and is kind of related to the IR. So I look at how low I can get the IR, and I do this test where I dump the battery at 40 amps to 7 volts, and how far it bounces back when I'm done at a 40 amp pull is kind of how the strength of the battery is. That's what I do. So the C rating, I don't know how they come up with that number, and I don't know. I think there's some advertising or smoke and mirrors on some of those numbers. The true strength of a battery is when you load it, how much voltage changes. That's what I use for kind of a strength number. And you know, I've seen the R1 battery. I started with the Max Amps battery. I used those for a long time, and we started stacking cells and doing a lot of paralleled stuff. And they're extremely strong. And then the R1 batteries, I noticed, had a little advantage over some of the configurations of the Max Amps batteries. And there's a few of them that are similar. Like, I think the Big Macklin battery that just came out is going to be good. I think Trinity makes a good battery. SMC actually.
I saw SMC.
The SMC
kinda
battery.
stepped up and made a nice
Somebody was
battery.
talking about that SMC battery in here today.
And even I've tried the Knuckle battery. Those are really good.
Knuckle Up battery.
Yep.
That's from Jake DeBrozian, right?
Yep.
Or I don't know if that's his.
They're a heavier battery, but very strong.
I want to try one.
Yeah, they're good. They're heavy.
They
but
are.
they're a big battery.
My car's already heavy as is, though.
Just take some brass off. But yeah, that's the main test I do. I don't really look at the C rating a whole lot. The C rating gives you an idea of the quality of the battery when you buy it. So you want to buy a high C rating battery. But then I'll discharge it. I'll cycle it, get it warm, get the IRs down, and then pull it down to 7 volts on a discharger and see where it bounces back. And I compare it to the other battery and see the less it bounces back, the stronger it is.
Gotcha.
Can you possibly put together a list on Facebook of the different names, radios, brands? What does that say? Call all these adjustments? Yeah, that's a little much, man. You know how much rumors start on the internet just trying to find the truth? I don't know what that means.
And Mark.
Oh, gotcha. Jeff is talking about the new R1 chassis. I got you, Jeff. Roger Gill says your ESC point and the start power in the first 4 squares can really make the launch hit with use of throttle speed for those using a radio with a throttle point. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yep. Roger Gill, that is correct. And Naked HD XYZ, dude, get a life, dude. Oh, my God. What is the problem with these people? I mean, seriously, man. Jack Stevens says, I run a 60-gram pack for balance since it weighs the same as the ESC.
Oh, yeah, that's good. And I'll even, you notice this car, so balance. We can look at something here. So I think balance is key, and I know R1 makes the cap that weighs the same as the ESC, so on their car you can put one on one side.
Well, it's because
one on the
they have those little flaps that go in front of the tires,
Yep.
and you put theoretically you put the ESC on one side and your cap on the other.
So if you see this car,
give me 1 second, Abel. Can you go up there and click that off where it says
let me see
not
what I can
now?
do.
Hang on, guys. I've got a damn my Apple ID verification is coming on. Dum.
here's your motor.
Can you get to it, Abel? Okay. If you want to pull it down, go ahead and pull it down if you need to. Yeah, that's stupid settings. Jeez. Hang on, guys. But Mark's going to show you something on this car here real quick.
Okay, so
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
with this car, the motor is
go ahead.
offset slightly with this gearbox. The top shaft is.
Watch
hold on.
your camera there.
Yeah. Move this out of the way. Oh, it needs to
Here, let me have it.
Damn it.
Yep.
There you go.
I got it. Yep. I'm going to hang it right over there for you.
So as far as balance goes, this motor on this car is offset this way a little bit. And you can see I scale my car almost obsessively to make sure that the scale weight is the same on all the tires. And I'll offset the battery. You see how the battery is set one way?
Yeah, wow.
So that's offset to get the right weight side to side. They're doing the same thing with the cap on the R1 where they have a flap on either side. They put the ESC on one side and they're running a B6 tranny, so the motor is set a little bit more center. So yeah, there's all sorts of ways to get the weight correct. I usually use, since the battery's pretty heavy and pretty movable, I'll move the battery around to get the weight side to side correct.
Mark, what program do you recommend for the RX-8 with the M17 remote? Is it the 276 or the drag software?
I use the 276, and I think they have an updated one now that does the same. I didn't use the drag software because I had the radio to control everything. So the drag software was made for people that might not have the M17 or like a real high-end radio to be able to run it on a less expensive radio.
Didn't you, me, Jim Campbell, when we talked that one time, didn't we talk about the 276?
Yes.
I think we did too.
And that's just the last version of the software that I ran. And since then, I've been running R1 for a little while now, but since then they've come out with some new versions that I think are a little bit more efficient. So there's a drag. It's 390. I think it's 291 and 293 or something like that. And I think they even have a 295 now, but that has like an unlocked version where they can run live timing. So yeah, there might be, but there's basically a drag specific version and then like an off-road on-road version. And I was using the off-road on-road version.
I remember we were talking about the 276. Hey, I can tell you this, Visalia RC Drag Racing over on YouTube. If you want to go see a pretty good show, it was actually really good. We had Jim Campbell was on the show with Mark, and it was really good. You'd have to go back. This has been a long time ago.
Yeah, that was a cool show to have him on.
Great, but listen, I'm going to tell you like this, though. You're going to hear a lot of ice crunching, and he was just remember that? He was just getting this. Yep. Corey Sorrells has a question for you, Mark.
Yeah.
Does he still work his motors, or do you buy them tuned already?
These motors I just got straight from the R1 site. I do have a Nick Bell motor that I haven't tried yet, but that's been modalized and has a different rotor in it to try. So, and Frank has used the Rockwell motor also. So we've kind of tried both. I think my favorite so far is this 13.5 rotor 3.0. And I do have a friend that has a modalizer, so we've optimized the timing on it and got it all set up right where it's got a good board so the phases are correct. So we've done kind of the same thing that Rockwell goes pretty crazy on some stuff, but like Nick Bell does all the modalizer, and so we've done the same thing to these motors, but they are just a standard motor, just optimized a little bit with timing.
Visalia RC Drag Racing, go back, and I think my title says Jim Campbell from Teakin with us tonight. Hey, Jay Joseph, are you still watching right now? I've got a quick question for you. If Jay Joseph, if you are still watching, I have to ask you a question. Let's see, Dylan McCuggy. What is the weight of your car, Mark?
This car right now is 2071 or something like that. It's right at minimum.
Okay.
Without the normally this is where I put the
GNS,
and I think it's 2100 with the GNSS, so it's right at minimum. I think it's 2060 or 2070 right now.
Hey, so Jay, somebody is asking about where to go. Hang on a second. Somebody's asking about the Volta. If you're testing that Volta tonight, are you testing it with the 13.5 rotor? Somebody asked about that a second ago. Where'd he go?
Offset.
Leo Getz is asking, Jay, if you're testing tonight, are you testing with the 13.5 motor? Henry Escoban, I got you. Corey Sorrells, we're good. How much weight do you have on the bumper of that car?
Let me see here. There's 6 plates of 17. What the hell would that be? I think it's probably about 100 grams. Maybe a little
Calculator? Yes, he is. Awesome. Hey, Leo Getz, give Jay Joseph a few days. Let him test that motor and maybe reach out to him, man, and see how it does. It's awesome how Mark and Abe are willing to help us new guys on the sport. Thank you, guys. Yeah, Jason Budzinski, you're welcome, dude. Corey Sorrells, one more, and then we're going to call this a night. What kind of RPMs do you pull at the end of each run with the 13.5 rotor in the 3.0 R1?
100,000.
I think the log I just showed, I was at 110 with an 18 pinion and about 100 with a 19 pinion. Yeah, it's up there pretty good.
Flying.
Dude, your car is like screaming at the end of the track.
Yeah, it's going pretty good.
Anything up there, can you see? South Florida RC Street, what did he say?
Which one's that? Up here?
Yeah, very
oh,
bottom.
Oh, yeah. Are those rear shocks the stock ones that come with the Apollo, or are they another set?
Nope. This is pretty much a kit stock Apollo. Just no, because it's a light car, I'm not running the side rails on it.
Yeah, I see that.
And I moved the servo forward, and that's about it. Put some weight in the front. There's no brass in the back. It's just a Siler bar and weight on the front.
Maybe it's just my problem because I have a tendency to crash.
What?
But do you run into issues like breaking bumpers? Like you don't probably crash a lot, but
I
like
crash for sure.
But like, do you have to keep extra bumpers? Like, because it seems like a delicate area to keep a servo and stuff.
I have not broke one servo yet.
No
And
kidding.
normally, if I hit, I'll hit on the side. It's rare to hit straight on.
Okay.
So I'll hit on the side, and what usually fails is these screws. Like it'll bust out right here.
Okay.
And I'll replace the bumper, or there's a spacer in here that breaks, so I'll replace the spacer, right? But it's pretty rare to bust the chassis.
Is that like what people call like a breakaway area?
Yeah, that's kind of the weak spot, right? So it usually busts the spacer before it busts the chassis.
The chassis.
Yeah, but I've replaced a bunch of bumpers. I've definitely broken bumpers.
You have broken bumpers.
Yeah.
Okay.
RC Corvette is asking, what's the spur gear?
96.
96. Jesse Alvarado, you're right. Good job.
How big of a riser are you to fit the 96? Do you have to put like a?
It comes with a gearbox spacer.
It does.
Yeah, and I think it's 7 millimeter. So they're raising the box up 7 millimeter, not the arm, just the box, and that allows. I think you can even run bigger. I think Tommy Burgess had like 100 on it or something. But I like the 96 because it moves. It puts the motor in the right place in the slots to run any pinion I want.
You guys got about 5 minutes. If you have any more questions, get it done now. Let's hear them. I know everybody was waiting, but Mark wanted to get through his deal. So if anybody has any questions before we end the show tonight, that'd be great. Blind Jay says R1 3.0 with a 13 millimeter rotor. Do your RPMs go up with a slightly smaller rotor?
Do my RPMs go up with a smaller rotor?
It's the very bottom question right there. Can you read it?
R130 with 13 millimeter rotor. RPMs go up. Yeah, so a smaller rotor will have less torque and want to run a little bit more RPM. So if
In
I was
theory.
going to, depending on the Gauss rating. And how
in theory, because you could have a smaller rotor with a heavier Gauss rating to equal probably close to the same amount of torque. And
Right. So I would assume the Gauss rating's less, which means it's going to want to RPM a little bit more. So I would probably run like the 18 pinion, spin it to 110, and you could actually run a little more timing. I don't know, but the timing level could be different on the 13.0 rotor.
Yeah.
It seems like the 13.7 liked a little less timing than the 13.5. So if you continued on that path,
it's crazy how
you might run a little bit more timing with the 13.0.
13 was like everyone was running the 13 millimeter rotor for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, like when it first started, it was like 12 threes, 12 fives.
That's the Roar approved size.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm like, everyone got the 13 mil. Now everyone's at 13.5, and now was it Tekin has like a 14 millimeter rotor or no, Trinity?
few of 'em.
Trinity. I don't know who.
R1 has one too.
R1 does too.
Yep.
Freaking crazy, dude.
Now, the biggest question of the night. Is everybody ready? This is the biggest question,
Oh,
Mark.
great.
Are you racing in New Orleans?
Nolans.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, of
racing.
course.
Yeah, Foster. God, what the hell is he going there for?
Yeah.
Just to hang out with me and you? And then RC Corvette, you're welcome. I didn't do nothing tonight, man. I sat here and fielded the guy that was putting up all the dirty stuff. I literally have deleted over 100 from this guy.
On
he
there.
just kept
Yeah,
putting
yeah,
them up,
I know,
and
dude.
I sat and deleted them all night. What the DR set on the M17?
Dual rate.
Oh, I'm usually running 100%. I mean, I'm if I want to shift, I'll go 90 and then 100. But most likely, most of the tunes I'm running it's 100%.
Here's a great question. I mean, this is good. I like this. Rich Hawkins is asking, hey, Mark, have you tested any bodies besides the Vet?
Yeah, that is a good question.
Yeah, it's a great question.
So I spent a lot of time on the 41 Willies recently. I had it out testing when Todd was out there, Saltero, and we were out on the main road that we normally test.
Yeah.
on. And I got it to go good, like close to 80, if not 80, and a little under 2.0, right? I mean, it was fast, but then I changed bodies and it was faster with the vet body by a little bit, but it looked so freaking cool. I wanted to run that body.
Yeah.
I mean, it had the other car has weight on the front, and the weight was sticking outside of the body, so it was a splitter with weight on it, like a grill.
okay.
Like a grill. It looked cool. Then just recently, Frank beat me with a shark body in the last.
Like Camaro? Oh, no.
It's,
No,
That's
the
like
boss.
The boss.
Yeah.
He's using that boss, isn't
We
he?
ordered a few of those.
Yeah, I
And
know.
why
He's,
is he
he's,
using-
he's getting me all. He's buying everything.
Why is he using those again? Because I thought for a while he was like, he tried them, he got away, and then he went back to the Corvette or whatever. And now he's back to
His
the.
car looked really stable with it, so we got a few of them to try. I know Shark, when I tried the Grand Slam a while ago with the no bar class at the Straight Line Showdown, it was super stable. They're just a little heavier. I was kind of on a big weight kick with this car, so I was trying to even like the paint's light and the wing is light, and I tried to get everything light on this car. So Frank just killed me with a heavy body, bigger body. Last weekend, so we're gonna revisit the shark body and see
Nice.
if it's stable. But yeah, I
Do you want
like
to experiment with the GTR?
I know Yulbrick is running the GTR
Yeah.
and very, very fast. I think it looks a lot like the Vet. The shape of it's a
It
lot like
does.
the Vet. I like the front end on it. I hear that's super solid body. That's going to be good.
I want to try it.
Yeah.
Did you get the Mustang painted yet?
Not yet.
Slacker.
I got to send it to somebody that's like not busy. Everyone's like 4 months out.
I know. I know a couple guys.
I'm sure you do.
Voodoo. He's running
That's you.
Voodoos.
Reds.
Yeah.
How'd I guess it?
Yeah. That was a good guess.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Where'd he go? Drive RC6
with
green
that pink
Camaro
lemonade.
is sweet.
I'm using that. Yep.
And maybe some RT.
Yeah.
A couple more,
1.7.
guys, and we're going to be done here.
Something like that.
Yeah.
132 Racing. Around what weight do you aim for in your light and heavy setups?
Light is minimum, and heavy. I was at 2400. I usually don't go over that. But it's a mystery. Like I thought the light would be faster, and Frank beat me with a heavier car. He beat me pretty good. Like his car didn't even look that fast. It was so stable.
That's the crazy thing about a fast, stable car is sometimes my fastest run when I ran Jordan, it didn't look like it was so straight and so stable. It didn't even look fast. It surprised me.
Yeah, it was. I turned a. I've been working on the light car setup, and this car has turned into 1.8s in the GNSS. Like it's freaking fast, and well over 80. I'm like, man, I got the combination. This is the way we're going to go. And I've been running light. I'm like, cool, it's fast. And then Frank comes and whoops me with a heavy car, big body, big shark body on it. And it was in the first half of the track, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, God, the thing launches so freaking hard. I can't catch it on the top end. So, it makes me think now we're kind of trying to figure out what we're going to bring to King of the Streets. And we're struggling a little to try and make the decision on what type of car we're all going to build, because we thought originally, man, light's the way, and it's fast, and we got it stable, and we figured out how to get a light car really stable. Then Frank comes along with this heavier car and just crushes us. Right?
Really?
God, what the heck?
Nice.
So yeah, I don't know what's the best. I don't know what's the best right now. It's hard to tell. Both
Okay,
of them are fast.
I'm going to wrap this up quickly, boys. Michael Roy says, "Hey, Mark, how did you get clearance on your steering linkage from the front shocks when you moved your servo to the front? I couldn't get my mind. I have clearance."
It's close. So that's a good question, because I had problems with that too.
Let me.
You're going to use this little here. I can use this one.
So I'm running a low front link. I put it on the bottom of the arm. And when you put it on the bottom, it kind of clears the lower part of the shock. But I only have this much movement until it hits the shock. So it's very little. Then after that, it hits, right? And it's not a perfect science on having that thing miss the shock. But the throw that it uses to actually race with is very small. So I get away with it being pretty close to the shock. But if you run them low under the arm like this, it's a better situation, because you kind of miss you're underneath the spring cup. Hopefully
Sweet.
that helps.
Hopefully. I'm trying to get a good video, so.
Yeah, and it still strikes, but it strikes when the tire is further moved than what you actually need.
Man, those cameras are so good. Wow. Okay. Thank you very much, Blind Jay. You're welcome. What front wheels are you running?
These are the same
down.
things I've been running for a long
Forever,
time.
right?
Yeah, they're
What are they?
sanded down Proline Staggers or something like that. Proline.
They're
The wheels.
They're carpet tire.
Yeah,
and
the
then
carpet tire.
The wheels are. These ones are actually a slash wheel. They're the gloss black slash front wheel that I cut the back off. But normally I'll run a Proline wheel and cut them. So
You cut that back second lip off,
yeah,
right?
I cut the second lip off the back on this one, and normally I'll cut the second lip off the back and the front on the Proline wheel and make a real narrow wheel.
Gotcha.
So I've been running these for 2 years. I love these tires.
I've got a set that John was supposed to just lend me, and I was supposed to give him back. I kind of stole them, and I've been using them ever since. 'cause
They're
I
nice.
love
Hey,
'em.
they're nice
I
though,
love
Mark.
'em.
I like them.
They're
I
short.
love these sanded down tires.
They're short, so you can get a body really low. Like you can see.
Yeah.
You know, if you saw the body on it, the body is cut really low in the front, right? I mean, it's very, very low. So they're short enough to get the body way far down. They're extremely light because there's no foam in them, and it's a carpet tire. And I sand them on a lathe, so they run super true.
You've had those for a while, right?
Yeah, I think these were my newest set. I maybe made a few months ago, but the one that are on my other car are like a year and a half old. They never wear out.
Yeah. You're welcome. 132 Racing, you're very welcome. Powered Man Racing says, I just learned about motors. You got it. That's going to wrap that one up. Great view. Jesse Kinder. Yeah, dude, that camera, man. Dude, that thing's on point. Proline Prism.
Yeah, that sounds right for the tire.
Yep. Okay. Do you have any issues with the bump steering?
No, the bump steering's pretty good with you put the ball stud on the bottom. I was able to get all the bump steer out. If you look at, like, I'm moving it up and down on the top camera, there's no bump in that. It moves pretty straight.
Mark, you guys staying at the hotel that hosts the race? Bill Seiler.
I'm assuming that's Vegas, the M.
No, I'm staying at a timeshare close by.
Okay. It's either that or he's talking about
Nolans.
Nolans. How little front caster do you have?
I think it's 0.
Perfect. Do you corner scale your car with wheels and tires or set up wheels?
How it runs down the track, same wheels and tires and body is what I scale.
Me too.
I
I always see people doing it at the bottom. Like, body has an important role.
I do it. So that's kind of an interesting topic we can talk about.
Uh-oh.
So I don't know if this body is a good example, but I'll scale it without the body. And then when I put the body on, I make sure that, see how the body is actually loose on the back? Like, I make sure that it scales the same with the body on and the body off. And I'll lift the body to make sure the body lifts at the same point. So the body can affect the scaling of the car quite a bit, like 40 or 50 grams minimum. Easy,
Yeah.
because it's heavy and it's a structure. So there's things that I'll do. Like, you see people they scale the car and then they put their body on and they like stress the mount to get it through the hole. And now your tires are up like 100 grams. So it's not even close. So I spend a lot of time mounting the body to make sure that it's on level. And if you lift the back and you lift the front, I can't really do it on here, but you can see that it lifts the same lifting it, so that it's not tweaked at all. The body sits level, and it fits loose, so it doesn't affect the chassis. It's not a structure to the chassis. It's sitting on there just floating. And it's important to do that. If you're going to spend the time to scale a car, the body needs to sit on there in a neutral way, flat and loose.
Yeah, so make sure you get those body posts drilled nicely.
Jesse Kinder. Yeah, buddy. Montana is one that I'm looking forward to going to. My wife is really looking forward. We're actually taking some time to ourselves up there. So not only are we going to be
Body looks pretty good on camera.
not only are we, yeah, real good. Not only are we going to be coming to your race in Montana, we're going to be hanging out for a while. Okay, guys, we're going to wrap this up here quick. No QS8 question mark? Mark? QS8.
Oh, QS8. I ran them for a while. They're just really hard to unplug. I didn't notice a huge performance difference, so I went back to the XT90 just for ease. But the QS8 does, we can actually see it in the current a little bit. It does save, 10 amps or 15 amps. It does flow better. It's a better connector. I just wish it wasn't so hard to plug in and take out.
Bill Seiler said Vegas. So you have Bill, he's staying at Airbnb. What's the black dots on the front of the body for?
Oh, those are
Those are
structure
screws
things.
Up
right?
front here.
screws for a little bit of weight.
Body.
Oh, I didn't realize. Did we change the camera? Did we change the camera?
Oh,
It's weight.
It's weight. He's got it everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. So I put. I want to put weight all the way up front, so I'll add a little bit of weight to the body. You don't want to add a lot because it can affect the structure, right? You don't want to put like 100 grams on the bumper, but I'll put a little bit on the bumper. It actually helps if I hit it. It seems like it holds the body
I'm gonna
together a
get the
little bit
whole
more.
tire wheel weight, like just the whole strip, and just.
Yeah, I told Dustin Malcote, I'm like, I want a splitter that the front of it is all brass, right? But then you probably hurt somebody with it if you hit him.
Yeah, you'd really hurt him.
I
You're
tried it.
welcome, Michael Roy. Thank you. RC Fun says Voodoos with foams or air.
I run both. These are foams that I have on the car now, but I usually have a couple sets of foams, a couple sets of airs, depending on how the track works. Everything's a little different.
What wing is that?
A BC Race Car wing. This company, BC Race Car, makes a really friggin' cool wing. This is the long version. So I can get it in there.
Here, no, just use the camera right there.
This is the long version.
Oh, you knocked it out. Hang
No.
on.
Hold on. What
Yep,
do we gotta
go
do?
back into it. Really, just go back into. I don't even know. Jeez, I have too many phones. Right there. Share. Oops. Share the camera. There we go.
So, can you see that? Okay.
Not yet. Hold on.
She's
And
coming.
we're live.
There we go.
So they have two
Wait a
different.
minute. Whoop. Oh, there you go.
They have two different vet wings. This is the long version. They have a short one that I've been running on the silver body. He offers it in this carbon coating or clear, and the wing is almost like a structure on the back, so I can cut off all the back of the vet bends, like the little wing on the back and stuff, and I just use this wing, and I'm extremely impressed with the quality. It comes. Last few come like built, so it's in a box. You open it up, and the whole thing is freaking built in the box.
Nice.
The wing is.
Yeah.
No
yeah.
kidding.
Yeah, they do an BC Race Cars. That's their sticker right there. The company that makes the wing. Very, very happy with their wing quality. They make, I think, some of the best. And the shark body we ordered, I got wings coming for that he makes also. So he makes all sorts of wings.
I'm gonna wrap this up now. Mark, Jesse Kenner wants to know, are you coming to Montana?
Ooh, I don't know. When is Montana?
Dude, I'm so.
Oh, Montana is Straight Line Showdown.
Nope.
No,
That's Big Sky Shootout.
Big Sky. There's so many races. now.
Bro, I know, and I'm going to
I thought Montana.
Montana is. I can't keep up either.
What's
Mark.
Scotty's race?
Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Wisconsin.
I'm gonna hit every race I can possibly hit. If that is the race where all the heavy hitter guys are going to Montana, I will probably be there.
I was looking for the.
Arnie, I think that's the last name.
Hey, are you going to Salt Lake City again?
Salt Lake City.
Last year it was a Salt Lake clash, Salt Lake City clash,
I
or
think-
concrete.
I think Chris Schwartz just signed up for that.
Yeah, he did. He did actually.
I'm working on that. I'm in the middle of moving over the next month or so, as we talked about.
I don't
before.
think it's for a while though.
It's
If
July,
it's,
isn't
If
it?
it's anything around now to like 2 months from now, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it. Yeah, I got a lot going on to try and move.
July 23rd.
Isn't that my
That's
wedding?
possible. That's far
It's
enough.
your wedding.
What?
You didn't
That's
know
my
he's getting.
wedding.
Yeah, I knew that, but that's the same. So you're not
That's
gonna make
at
that
the
one.
Salt Lake.
No, he's getting married.
You get married
It's-
there?
Yeah.
Dude,
Oh, shit.
I'm live streaming a wedding.
I'm like, Billy, how do you not know what dates? I'm like, this is my wedding, isn't it?
Jesus.
I might have to try and make that if he's getting married there. Shit.
Let's try to get you to go.
Okay.
Because that would be awesome to have you up there. Because my son, my son, Bo's going to be, I'm taking Bo up there with his wife, and he's an ordained minister. So he's going to marry him. We're going to live stream it. They're not going to do the
First dance.
The first dance. They're going to do a race. They're going to actually going to race. So it's going to be pretty fun, man.
Nice. Yeah, I have New Orleans coming up, and then I'm moving that next week after we come back. and then
Okay.
we have King of the Streets the following week.
Are you
So,
going to Super Chips?
Yes.
Yeah, you're going to Super Chips. Yeah. Okay.
That is a race I would not miss.
Yep, I know, me either.
That is
That's
an
going to be a
awesome
good one.
race,
Yeah,
yeah.
dude, I can't wait to. We're live streaming the whole thing.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
few that
I'm
like
excited,
King of the
man.
Streets and Super Chips and Scotty's I hold in it.
Jay
extremely
Joseph
high.
says, "Congratulations on getting hitched."
That's funny.
Thank you, Jay. I appreciate it, man.
And then I think that's going to wrap it up, everybody. Yep, YouTube's done. We're done. Mark Vyne. Mark Vyne, King of Smokies. Be there, be square.
That's part of that series.
That's
Point
Foster,
series, too.
correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. That's it, guys. Dude, Mark, thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I mean, I didn't
Thank
do a
you.
whole lot. I'm telling you, man. I was trying to feel all this. This is we were.
This whole place is great to be able to connect
Yeah,
with
it
people,
turned
so
out you
thank
haven't seen it since I redid it.
Yeah.
It's come a long way. Like, look at you got TVs
awesome.
just blowing, and this new camera that we put up for you, dude, it's staying.
very
It's
cool.
yeah. I mean, look at that. Look how you can just
Yeah,
you can.
that's great.
Yeah, it looks good, dude. I love it.
No, thank you. Thank you for the time to
Yeah,
be able to do this.
anytime, man. Jay Joseph says you're welcome. 8 degrees today. No thanks, JC Kinder. Jesse, I'm good. What up, Todd Saltero?
What's up, NPRCTV?
Crazy
What's
guy,
going on,
crazy
Todd?
dude.
I got your Medea shirt. Don't worry.
Medea. Oh yeah, we got Todd a shirt.
Yeah, we got Todd a shirt. It's
Right.
Medea on the back.
Medea. It's media. Crazy people.
Not according to Bo.
Right. Well, that's it, guys. Dude, guys, huge, man. I mean, Mark Vyne come in for you guys. Hopefully, I mean, he did a lot. There was a lot going on. I mean, but hopefully, you guys. The cool thing about it, you can go back and watch it. It'll be up on YouTube and Facebook. Indefinitely. So,
And Mark's YouTube. We're gonna get it over to him too.
It'll be over on Mark's. It'll take me a couple days to get to you.
Sure, no
but
problem.
I'll get it loaded for you. Ivan Versatile, thank you, my friend, dude. I appreciate that, man. Todd. Todd says you crazy. What's up, boy? Brent Clanton, you're too late. You're late to the show. We're gonna call it a day. See you, Foster. Good night, everybody. I'm just
Good
looking
night,
to make
everybody.
sure there's nothing else. Again, thanks, Mark. Abel, you're getting closer to being hitched soon, so.
I'm scared. Everyone
Anyway.
tells me not to do it.
Hey, guys, till next time. Don't know when the next time is, to be honest with you. And make sure you join me, not this weekend, but the following weekend. I'm in Bakersfield, then I'll be in New Orleans, and then I'll be at the King of Streets. It's going to be good,
All
man.
right, cool.
You guys have a great night, and I'll see you next time.
Later, everybody. Have a good